unashamed of being a shamer, Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on it. Just been get it on. Excited to see Taylor Williamson, a very funny stand-up comedian. Probably know him best from America's Got Talent, but very funny stand-up special I watched last night. Taylor Williamson live at the Comedy Store, and it's available on YouTube, and it's free, and it's, I don't know, 36 minutes or something. It's very bite-sized.
Thank you so much. I truly can't tell you how much that means to me. It's always I mean, you do this your whole career, but like I grew up listening to you on Loveline, you know, and it's fun to entertain people who entertained you for so long. It's so special. And not to be too genuine.
Listen,
I'll become racist now.
I thought it was a really funny stand-up special.
Thank you so much. And yeah, so it's my best jokes I ever told, and I'm so proud of it. And I would love for people to check it out and share with their friends, and so I can keep not living with my mom and stuff. You know.
Where'd you grow up?
San Diego, Del Mar.
Oh, so you would listen to us on 91X.
Yeah, dude.
back in the day.
It was funny. I watched you on MTV too, but it was like as a kid. I'm 37, so like whatever year. So it was 98 maybe I started listening to it, you know? But it's like, because you're like a 12-year-old boy and you're like, they're talking about sex, you know? And oh, you know? Oh, wow. And then you're like, wow, this is really fun. They're funny and it's interesting. And then, so I listen to Loveline, I'm like, go to sleep. Okay, then I would turn on my radio. It's on at 10 o'clock at night. And like, it was kind of like, ooh, I'm listening to this. But it was like funny and interesting. And I don't have STDs thanks to you.
Yeah,
for many
you're
reasons.
Welcome.
Yeah. And
but the day is young. You're not getting out of the studio without herpes. Block the door, Chris.
Wow, that's great, because a lot of podcasts, they give out free stuff, and like I appreciate that.
This is free, and you know, a sack of whole bean coffee you go through in a week, but herpes. That's a lifetime membership.
That's so special. Yeah. Wow. I can't.
You got to look at it that way.
I can't add to that. You're right.
You know what? It's weird because people tell those kind of weird Loveline radio stories all the time, and it wasn't that long ago, but it sounds like such a distant time in the past. You know, like you know, when you hear stories about my grandmother grew up out here, and she would go, "Oh, we used to drive down Sunset Boulevard, and all it was bean fields everywhere. And then on Sunset, that's where the chicken place was. And you'd go up, you know, probably where the Comedy Store is now, and you'd like walk up the hill and you'd buy a chicken, a live chicken, and then you'd take it home and like kill it and pluck it and stuff. And it's like, that sounds insane, but it was a different time a long time ago. And I talk to people all the time that go, I used to listen. I had my little portable radio, and my stepdad would tell me, hey, lights out, but I bring the radio underneath the covers.
Volume down.
And it's like, wow, it sounds so archaic and so old, but so many people tell that story with Loveline.
And and I realize it makes you feel old, and I'm starting to get that now, because I did America's Got Talent 10 years ago.
Wow.
And
yeah.
like, I have people who are like, oh, when I was 8 years old, I watched you on America's Got Talent, and now I'm just like, this system, I don't like this compliment.
Yes,
like,
no, I get that.
It genuinely bothers me, so I apologize for
I'll
that,
talk to balding dudes with gray beards saying I grew up listening to you, which just makes you feel super, super old. But
you're doing that right now, actually.
Here's a question. It's true.
Careful. That was hurtful.
That's all right. I'm a
it's
big
okay.
boy.
You can't do that. You hurt my feelings. Yeah, that's okay. Moving on.
Moving on. No, that's my that you have to learn that as a parent. See, this is the problem as a nation. If you have your 6-year-old like falls off the skateboard and is laying on the ground and screaming and crying, you know, you have to pull them up on their feet and go, "You're fine. Yeah. Here we go." Because if you get down and go, oh my God, are you okay?" Then they spiral deeper. And I feel like as a nation, we need to do that. Yeah. We have like way too many people going, "Oh my God, you felt threatened? Yeah. You felt threatened? Oh my God." It's like, instead of like, get some fucking balls, get on your feet, you're fucking adult, start walking. Walk it off.
Right, but I was raised the other way, so I need to still be treated like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, are you okay?
Thank you for asking. You know, like I don't know if I should use just for men. I don't know what to do.
I have Neosporin in the car. Would you like some?
It just helps everything. Just try it first.
Try Neosporin first, and if that doesn't work, we'll get into cancer treatments.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So where? All right. Here's. I want to know. I want to know etiquette.
Okay.
I want to know etiquette. So
You're really bad so far, but respect.
this is automotive at the pump, filling up with gasoline etiquette.
You get a paper towel so you don't get your germs.
Don't do that. Never.
Oh, you don't do that?
No, I'll use my sandwich holding hand to use the fucking thing, and then put the sandwich back into the sandwich hand and watch the thing spin
It flavors
around.
your sandwich. Yeah.
I could see you using the bread from the sandwich to protect your hand.
That I've tried, but it does not work with pumpernickel. It'll work with something that's a little more malleable, like white.
Right.
So
I'm Jewish. I use matzah. It wouldn't work at all.
oh no, that's a
It would
breakage.
crush. But you
All
would
right.
eat it off the floor probably too.
All right, let's continue.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so
Sorry, sir.
I get a new car. And I go to, and everyone's going to go, oh, you got another new car? It's a long story. My son turned 17. He needs a car. There's a lot of car swapping going around. I don't know why. When I was 16 or 17, my parents had no thoughts about what car is he going to drive, because the thoughts were he's walking or we'll lend him our car on the weekends in like a sparing way. But it's the new
No
world
car
order.
swapping when you were a kid?
No, there was nothing. But my son now needs a car. So anyway, I'm driving a different car. And this car takes gasoline, unlike my electric car, which I had before that. So first things first. In the techno department, I'm getting away from the pump for a second. I fuck up all things technical. Nothing ever works for me. People try it all the time. Like they go, oh no, you got to use, when I did Celebrity Apprentice, and they were like, oh, you got to get the boom box and plug it into the TV, and then you'll have all your favorite shows. So what was that box called, Chris? What is that system called? It used to be a system. It's called Slade or something. Yeah, everyone will think of it. But anyway, Gary's going to go set it up at the Trump Tower. Sling. He's going to set up the Sling box. I go, it's never going to work. And he goes, what do you mean it'll work? I watch all my shows. You'll have all your shows waiting for you when you get back from the task. And I said, it's never going to work. And he said, I'll come over. I'll set it up. He did the whole thing. He tried it 5 times. It never worked. I just watch women's college volleyball at 2 a.m, just on ESPN3. There's like none of my shows anywhere. But anyway, I was sitting where I live. It was like 45 degrees the other night. And I had to leave somewhere in the morning, and my car is parked outside. And the fucking car is freezing when it's 45 degrees outside. And I said, this is a brand new modern car. I'm going to do remote start, and I'm going to warm this car up, and then I'll get into it. And then another thought I had was, that'll never work. That'll never work. And then it's like, but why? Everyone has remote start. I could do this. No, it's never going to work because it's you.
You have like the angel and the devil on your shoulders just arguing.
And so I go walk over to part of the house. I look down on the driveway and I see the car. And I hold up the key fob. And I'm like, okay, that's lock. That's unlock. That's hatch pop. There's a 4th one at the bottom. I don't know what the symbol is, but I'm just going to hold it down.
Oh, no.
Hold it down, the alarm goes
That's
off.
the panic button.
Starts flashing and stuff. I go, okay, all right, I can't do this with the key fob. I'm not done because I got momentum now. I then go online. I go, I'm going to get a video where somebody smarter than me is going to tell me, and I punch in the car and I write remote start, and it says, you have to download the app. And I'm like, okay, now I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done. Passwords, home addresses, cell phone. Okay, then I walk out my slippers and fire the car up and walk back in. Now it's just like your dad would have done with his Oldsmobile in 1971, living in Minneapolis. I just did the exact same thing. And I realized I can't do things.
Yeah.
You're setting yourself up for disappointment.
I know. It's my fault for loving too much, for like believing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You've been burned so many times.
So then I got it. I'm sitting here. I'm here like 4 or 5 days ago, and I realize I'm out of gas. I'm not going to be able to make it home. I got to just go to the gas station and fill up.
Yeah.
So I take the car that I've never put gas in before, and I drive it over to the Arco station or the mobile station or whatever it is. And I'm looking at the gauge with the little arrow, where it goes, it's on this side, or the hatch is on. that arrow needs to be a little bit bigger. But all right, it's telling me what side. So I pull up to the right side. I got a car in front of me, but I'm the second guy, and there's 2 pumps, so I'm fine. I get out of the car, shut the car, get out of the car, walk over to the flap, and do what I used to do with my old car, which is like push the thing in so it'll pop out. No dice. No dice. So now I go, okay, there's a button somewhere. There's somewhere inside. And I go inside. And I see the fuel little icon button, and I push it. And it just makes a click, 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 click. No pop. No hatch pop. Just click, 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 click. And now I will go, okay, I'm going to shut the car. I'm going to lock it. I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to reboot it. Now I got a guy in a Prius waiting on me, right?
Yeah. And
click, 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 but no poppage. So I keep trying to restart it, reboot it with the alarm, shut it, open the door, shut the door, get out of the car, start the car. The guy in the Prius doesn't know what the fuck I'm doing here with, like, you can't get your own gas flap open on your car. Also, I scanned the credit card. So the thing's got the credit card.
it's waiting on you now.
It's waiting on me. This guy's waiting on me. And now line is starting to form. So I feel bad. So I pull up to the next pump, but this pump's got my credit card.
So you got to cancel.
Yeah, I got to cancel, but it's unclear exactly if I can pull off the cancel part because I see the cashier, you know, kind of thing. So then this guy pulls up behind me because I feel like the biggest dick in the world because he's waiting for me, and all I'm doing is arguing with the gas flap, and he must be going, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" This guy pulls up into my old slot. I say to the guy, and there's another car or two waiting too, right? I go to the guy, hey, listen, there may be a credit card on that thing. I'm not sure. And he goes, I'm just here to use a squeegee. And I'm like,
no way.
If you're here to use a squeegee, fucking pull it off and go get your fucking squeegee. Now he's squeegeeing his entire fucking car, and there's people waiting to get gas. And there's plenty of room. You could
imagine the third person in line just seeing like the guy who can't get his tank open and the guy just squeegeeing, taking out the pumps.
That's poor etiquette, right?
It is.
That guy's got a personality disorder, right? Like you could just pull off. There's a parking space 20 feet from here.
Doesn't matter what side of the pump you're on.
Go get your fucking squeegee. Yes.
Yeah, you're totally right. I have a crazy theory.
Yes.
Because the second you come up to him and go, hey, my card is on there, you're starting to sound like a scammer. You sound, and I think he got nervous and was just like, I'm not even touching the pump.
He looked like a guy who would just use the squeegee. Like he had that aura about him. He looked a little eccentric.
Like
Let's
a naval
put it
hat.
that way.
Do I have that?
No, you... Oh, yeah, in a crew neck sweater.
Yeah, like a blue crew neck sweater.
No, this guy was kind of disheveled. The car was a mess, and he was kind of a mess. And I believe that was sort of his car wash, his like free car wash. But come on, waiting in line while people are waiting in line to take a space at the pump to basically wax on and wax off your car. That's bullshit. There's open parking spaces all over. So now I pulled to the next one. And I'm still fighting with the gas flap. I got 4 miles left on the range. I'm not going to make it home. And I'm like clicking, click, click, click. Now I'm back on the phone. Okay, another video. Let's do this.
How to open my gas tank.
Open my gas tank. It's like, come to this car, push the button, and it'll release. It's not releasing, but it's clicking. I can hear it click, but I can't. So
like
then
the signal's being sent.
I'm clicking, then I get out and start pulling on it. Then I go back in and click. So I go, okay. There's one guy here, still here, working. Adam. The good Adam. The good Adam is here. And that guy's smart, and he knows the internet, and it's only a mile away. So I just fucking leave. I just leave, turn around, and come back here.
Your video editor, Adam.
Yes. And I go, not this Adam. I don't know it. There's another Adam shares in the next room. So then I pull in. I got 2 miles left on the range now, and I go, look. This flap ain't open. What am I missing here? I shut the car, turn the alarm on and off, hit the button. It makes a click sound, but no flappage at all. And he goes, let me look on the internet. And I'm like, good, you're a smart guy. He looked, says, hit the button, whatever. So then now I get back to construction, Adam. I go, now listen, every time I hit this button, it makes a click, click sound, but nothing's happening. You stand at the gas flap. This is a two-manner. Time it. When I hit the button and you hear the click, click, pull it open. Pull it open, right? So then he goes, okay.
It's like a nuclear
hit
launch
the
code.
button, and it pops open.
No.
Wow.
Right. So now I'm like, all right, I'm going back to the gas station. I hope the crazy guy with the squeegee's gone, but I'm leaving the flap open. And I know someone's going to honk their horn at the light and do the point thing. There's no hand signal that can explain this odyssey. You know what I mean? I'm just going to have to give him, I gotcha. Yeah. But the flap, there's nobody who's more aware of this flap being open than this guy right here. It's
all you know at this point.
This is not a brain fart. It took me a while to get that flap open, and I'm not going to risk shutting it because I don't want it to relatch.
Right.
And then I'm going to be alone at the gas station or asking for an assist from the squeegee guy.
Yeah.
So now that's where we're at. I'm getting low on gas now, and I'm not sure where my next move is because I know how to open it, but it is a two-manner. Do I rely on the kindness of strangers? Like the next time I go to the gas station, I just go, hey, but could you just...
You think Squeegee Guy's going to help you?
Do I use like a mop handle to push the button and then pop it myself?
You need some sort of pulley system?
I'll tell you what would work. I'll bet you it would work because I'm good this way. I just need a little door wedge, just a little shim, and I'll shim it, and I'll put a little pressure. I'll put a little outward pressure on it, and then I'll push the button,
This
and
is
it'll
insane.
pop.
This cannot be how you live your life.
I will.
Is this the Mazda?
Yeah.
This is the car I put gas in on our way home from Solana Beach the other night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
We did gas it, but then it stopped.
Dawson did it one man.
What you do is you press the button and then it releases the latch and then you can press it and it pops out.
I tried that like 6 times.
No,
I
don't.
think I'm pretty damn sure because I was a little perplexed
Don't learn this.
as well.
Don't learn this. Don't listen
But
to him.
we'll go try that at the
I'm
break.
gonna-
You press the button and then push it and it will come out.
Adam said he tried that.
I pressed the button. You know, I got crazy squeegee guy waiting to get in line, and I'm fucked up because I hate being on the clock.
Yeah.
Like, I hate when there's something... You know, if I go to Home Depot and they're like, "Oh, we don't have the Q code for these toggle bolts," I'll be like, "Just throw them aside." Then
We'll get someone
I
over to
don't.
get
No.
the price check.
Let me walk it down the aisle. I'm like, no.
We can. We'll be here in 3 minutes.
There's
It's okay.
people waiting. I don't know. No, just put them aside. I'll get them another day or whatever it is.
But I think, honestly, if I may give some business advice, Jewish guy business advice, listen up. This is another podcast for your network. You go to the gas station. I need somebody to help me out. Squeegee guy, not a fun guy in normal life, interesting podcast.
It's content.
So it's you and whoever helps you, assist you with a mini podcast, 10-minute episodes maybe.
Yeah.
And like you're a famous man. People will go, oh, okay.
We call it the kindness of strangers.
It's positivity. Yeah.
The world needs that.
Yeah.
And it's radio, so you can say they're diverse people, and they won't know.
They'll probably be diverse. It's around here. Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing, you know?
The
I pushed the button and then went around. Believe me, was like pushing on the thing and pulling on the thing and doing everything I could do to get the thing open. So something went amiss.
We'll take a look.
Yeah,
I
we'll
was
take a
able
look.
to do it, though. I was able to do it.
No, listen. I know you're able to do it because I was there. Something changed. Like something went amiss between there and there.
I hear this story. I'm curious how to get it open, but I'm more obsessed with the idea of you moving up a pump because you notice the line behind you. Because I've seen so many people just stack behind the person, and there's a free pump in front of them, and they'll just stay there. They'll say park there. They're waiting for the person inside the store or something.
I marvel every day that everyone thinks I'm a dick. I marvel at it because I don't have any of those qualities. I am so like, fuck it. Oh, I'm not going to make you wait for 1 second. I will roll up my credit card's in the thing,
pump, and you still moved up. That's incredible.
I would
the kindness of
do it
strangers.
1,000 times. That's and again, I'm not a thoughtful person. I would never buy you a gift. I would never recognize an anniversary.
Can't confirm.
I've never asked you about your children.
Yep.
I never anything.
I have one.
But if I am making you wait for 2 seconds longer than you should, I will move immediately.
May I throw a tangential one at you? Sidebar for a second. I got trapped in this nightmare, and it stressed me. It actually made me angry. And it's kindness, but I don't like it. I think it's like phony kindness. I was at Starbucks drive-thru, and then I get to the window, and they're like, the person in front of you paid for you. Would you like to pay for the person behind you? And I'm just like, all I got was a green tea.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, this guy's winning. And then they have like a whole bunch.
There's a minivan.
I'm gonna
filled
spend-
with people
I'm gonna
Filled with illegals who were raised on lattes.
Were they? Is that true? You
Oh,
checked?
the illegals love lattes. It's a meal to them.
Like, would you spent? He spent $5 on you. Would you like to spend $45 on the person behind you? I'm
Right.
like, no. And then they look at me like, well, you're a monster.
Oh, by the way, in terms of math, if the person to your right hands you $5 and then you take it and then you hand it to the person to your left, we're still exactly where we were.
Yeah.
So what the fuck?
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, there's too much kindness. And you know what else there is?
It's too much.
Too much. There's too much love.
Yeah.
I'm getting sick of it.
I was watching Hard Knocks training camp with the Miami Dolphins. First off, I started noticing through watching all the football games over the weekends that everyone's the back. First off, there needs to be a message on the back of the helmet now, and it's "Be love." Everything's just "Be love." Be love while you're spearing a guy and breaking his ribs and tearing his ACL, and then throwing him out of bounds when he's 4 yards out of bounds into a bench. You know what I mean? But it says "Be love" on the back. You're taunting him. Yeah, you just lit him up over the middle, and he's now concussed, and it says "Be love" on the back of your helmet. But these are all 25-year-old jocks, and when the Miami Dolphins lost and got booted from the playoffs, season over by the Kansas City Chiefs, every single dude, because they're all mic'd up, they're all like hugging it out. Love you, bro.
Yeah.
Love you. Love you, man. Lots, much love. Love to you.
Yeah.
Love with you. It's like, why don't you suck his dick right on the field?
why?
Jesus Christ. Nobody, then Jack Lambert said that to fucking Jack Ham? Or
Much love.
Ed,
Let's trade
Ed
jerseys.
Too Tall Jones or something. Are you fucking nuts? Much love. They're
'cause
all
they're mic'd
hugging
up.
and loving and loving and hugging. It's too much.
The one time Patrick Mahomes wasn't mic'd up, but he had like a shotgun mic pointed, and he was complaining about that that call. He was upset about the refs, the officials. So that got him in a lot of trouble. So now it's all about respect, all about love, and they're all worried about it. I think they have to.
Too much love talk in the NFL.
So would you prefer like just fights?
Yeah.
Like, you ruined my life. I wanted the Super Bowl since I was a child, and
You stole
ruined
my
this-
dream.
Yeah.
You come here to take what was mine.
There's 50,000 people here who are upset because of you.
We want people to be petty. That's all. It's just-
It's better at
I don't even
television.
I don't like when they score the touchdown and they go to the stands and they hand the ball to their wife. I think they ought to fake hand them the ball and then backhand them real quick and then run back out and hand the ball to the ball guy.
They should hand
funny.
the
to
ball
a kid,
to a business person. Pretend to hand it to the kid, and then hand it to a business person and be like, let's sell this for $20 million.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Just
So done with
pettiness.
love, done with the be love, done with the messages on the backs of the helmets.
love that.
Don't feel like it moves the needle at all.
But you have to be careful with the move up. It seems like love. So it's confusing because it looks like love when you leave space for others. So I think stop doing that maybe.
yeah.
Stop
When I was
doing the love
watching the
thing.
game, I didn't know what I wanted to be.
But now you know
But
you
I
want to
read
be
the
loved.
back of Travis Kelce's helmet.
What does that mean, be love?
No one knows what it means. We're now, we're now in a weird word salad part of life where we just talk about lifting people up and being courageous and leaving no one behind, and everyone's just like, yeah, all right, fuck, I'm going back to my mansion, and you go back to your refrigerator box under the bridge.
I think the only thing that we really know about Be Love is it takes all of us. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So what I've learned from the NFL is it takes all of us, which it says in the end zone, which means nothing, and then be love means nothing.
Can I tell you where I saw No Love recently, and I think you would enjoy
No
this?
love? Where's this?
An HOA meeting.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Can I tell you what's going on? The Cheese May in my HOA meeting?
please.
We got Russians stealing money from our HOA because they go, this is going to cost $3,000 to fix this, and they go to their friends, and then they go, hey, we'll pay you $2,000 for it. Then they pocket some money.
Russians.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Wow.
And, I thought
who would have ever? Yeah, exactly.
But it's a whole thing. Like I moved in and I'm just like, one of my neighbors is telling me this. I'm like, okay, sounds kind of racist. I don't know what's going on, And then like I go to the meeting and like one of these guys is German and I talked to him afterwards and he's like, I was like, what's going on? Is this real? And he's like, my wife's Russian. It's real.
I've been saying this for years. Someone needs to say to the Russians, you're white. Knock it off. You're the last crazy white people on the planet. All the other white people have got their Switzerland and New Zealand. All the other fucking pale faces have gotten their shit together over the last 75 to 80 years. Not you fuckers. You're still fucking nuts. Now knock it off. Go look in the mirror and stop acting like fucking grifters.
I was in Canada last week. They're kind of wild out there.
Yeah, but they're very progressive. I mean, their policies are very progressive. Their world is a progressive world. They're not declaring war on Nova Scotia.
Right.
They're not fucking nuts.
Right.
Believe me, if there was Canadians running the HOA, they would not be grifting and getting kickbacks. You know what I'm saying? That's a Russian move. So next time you have a meeting, explain to them that they're white and that they're the last crazy white people on the planet and they need to join the sane white people.
Yeah.
Because that's the majority now.
I hear you. The Canadians who do crazy stuff, they're affecting themselves only, like walking around with shorts on in negative 40-degree weather.
Yeah, that's fine. You want to take your shirt
yourself
off at a Bills game? Be love. I'm fine with that.
Right.
It doesn't affect me, but you can't steal my parka.
Right.
So the HOA.
It's wild.
Well, HOAs, people don't realize that, if you're living in a decent size pad, and especially in Midtown Manhattan or something, the HOA will be based on the worth of your unit. If it's $10 million, there's people paying, $8,000 a month on an HOA, but there's regular stuff just $1,300 a month. It's a chunk of change.
Yeah.
When you think about, well, I think we can afford this condo, the payments probably be about $2,900 a month. Tack another $1,500 onto that if you have a kind of aggressive HOA, right?
Yeah, my options were a real house or a townhouse, and I travel and whatever, and it's whatever. But the numbers were it was $400 a month at the beginning for my HOA fees. But I'm if I had a house, I'd have to pay for someone to mow the lawn. I'd have to pay for upkeep, whatever. It's about the same, whatever. But then the number keeps going up now. And there's a pool I've never used in my life. There's a clubhouse I've never used in my life. And you're right, it keeps going up. And I'm if I had my own house, I probably was spending for a small house $250 a month on upkeep and all that, And it does get very expensive.
Homeowners Association meeting.
Yeah, have you ever been to one of those
Wild.
meetings, Adam?
I hate meetings. All meetings. I would, if you said to me,
I have, yeah.
would you rather go to a HOA meeting or one of those forced imposed diversity meetings that your business has? I'd be you got to put a clock on it now. I got whatever one's shorter. I would probably go to.
Well, mine was 4 hours. So probably
God.
The one I went was they wanted to announce this nice tax break. You have to apply for it if your home is over 100 years old, which mine is. So I went to it. 4 hours. There's probably 200 people in this meeting. I mean, you got some free croissants. You go up to the front. They're cut in half. They're stale.
Yeah.
You pour yourself a coffee. You sit in this high school auditorium and you just listen to these people's PowerPoints. And then at the end he goes, all right, so we have 3 applications open for this tax break. And there's 200 something people in here.
So
everybody just walked right out.
Squeegee guy slides right in front of you.
Yeah.
Mine was action packed. I've never been to one. I'm leave me alone. I don't want to participate. I don't write back. Or someone texts me saying, I'm going to take me off the email list. I don't want to.
I'm with you on everything.
But then it became a thing we have to stop the Russians. It's a whole neighborhood campaign.
Sure.
So I went. it was action packed. I'm next to an Orthodox Jewish guy. I'm next to a guy who directed some Bruce Willis movies. I'm next to a teacher. I'm next to
all walks of life.
Everyone against the Russians. There was like one good Russian though, but everyone. So these Russians are in charge. It's like a cartoon, and like because it's like people who are positions of power where you have power right here, we have no power anywhere else, and it's wild how they go for it. And so everyone's there just to find out either what's going on or we know what's going on. This needs to stop. But I just want to say that they start the meeting and they go, let's take a vote. It's only the board members talking. It's all these like shady Russians, and they go, who agrees we'll have one topic, only no topic can go over 10 minutes. Who agrees? They all raise their hand.
Yeah.
So the whole room is like, what? And I'm just like, this is overstimulating for me. I loved it. So like, and it was just wild because everyone wanted to talk about the same thing, but they refused to allow the conversation to be like, you guys are stealing money.
Yeah, so this probably happens a lot. So the scam is we need a new roof. The roof is going to be $55,000. Then the guy gets hold of Acme Roofing, who he knows, and he gives the guy $40,000 and he pockets the 15.
Right.
That's basically.
And so
Can't put the Russians in charge of money, don't you? Well, that's on you. The Orthodox Jew that was next to you with the school teacher, put them in charge.
But what's wild, my neighbors keep dying somehow. They keep falling off the roof.
Man, the Russians.
Yeah, it's so wild.
They poisoned a journalist who was in 2B.
But what's so crazy is like they're like it's so obvious they're guilty because like this guy's like, I don't get paid to be here. What, like, you don't get paid? Just if no one wanted me to be in charge, I'd just be like, all right, good luck. But you're so defiant.
Yeah.
Because you're full of shit. Like you're shady. Why do you want this job? I work 14 hours a week for free. Do you think this is fun?
Yeah.
Why you're a maniac? Anyone who agrees to do that, I don't trust them.
You need a Russian purge.
Well, that's what we're working on. So
There's a deep state.
Everyone, please vote. And the next votes are coming up. This is the real reason I'm on the podcast.
Can we write you in for president?
My neighbors have tried nominating me, and I
Really?
I've been nominated. I swear. I got the letter. I'm like, this is crazy. That's how bad it is. They want me to be in charge of the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's a new low. Yeah.
I'm like a quarter Russian. Don't trust me, you know?
That's what you should do. Speak with a slight Russian accent.
We find that out after he gets elected.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd be better off with my cousin Yuri. Are you Russian? Yes, a little bit. You have vodka? It's 7 in the morning. What the? Just give me a shot. And then they'd go, okay, we'll go next door.
But the other things, because they had to talk about other stuff, because we couldn't just talk about that the whole time. So people were like, you stole an orange from my tree, and I'm salivating. The things people get mad about. It's so like
when you own a home, or you realize the unyielding and unending desire for people to get involved. Like, you've put up wind chimes on your patio. It's like, are we really? As adults, we're having this conversation about, I put a coat of brown stain on the railing on my patio, and I didn't clear it with you first, and you can't even see my patio from like where you are, but you've come around and put a note on my door. There's so many of these fucking adults out there. It is insane, and it's not something that I was prepared for. Like, I'm going to tell my kids, hey, listen, you're going to go off into the world and think adults are like mature and like sensible, possibly polite or pragmatic. They're all fucking batshit crazy.
Yeah.
There's 3 sane people. You'll never live next to any of them. You'll live next to fucking crazy fucking people who'll call the cops because your TV's too loud or something. It's insane how many people those are.
It's honestly so. I mean, it's true. It's like funny, but it's not funny. Like, I'm constantly reminded, like, I didn't have the best parents and stuff, and like I'm always looking for like a mentor or father figure. If either of you are interested, I'm
out.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. I need a guy to pull my gas flap when I push the button. How you own the diamond lane? I'm going to rethink this.
Yeah.
Because we might make a team.
I have a Chihuahua. Is that how do you feel about that?
Not a fan.
Right. I didn't think so.
But if the whole gas flap thing works out and the diamond lane thing
maybe you guys will have a catch
out,
after.
Yeah. Maybe you could open.
Okay.
Something. Okay. All right. I'm just going to give some thought.
Okay. This is great.
Mentor. Sorry.
But everyone's out of their minds. And like, I started stand-up when I was 17. this is something I learned in life, like truly. The more confident, and I would just listen to 40-year-olds and I thought they know better. I made so many mistakes in my life because people spoke confidently to me. I've learned in life, truly, this is the best advice I ever got. One, don't take advice from anybody. But two, so it kind of contradicts what I'm saying. The more confident someone is when someone says, this is what you need to do, the less I trust them now because no one knows anything. You can go, this is what I think you should do. But nobody knows. Every mistake I've made in my life is from listening to somebody else, and also mistakes I've made. But I've also made so many mistakes listening to other people tell me this is what you got to do.
Yeah. Well,
thank you for listening to my rant. Yeah, I made a lot.
It's the right people telling you what to do. If you find those people, then you'll be pretty good.
Is that you, Papa?
Yes, it is, son. Kneel at the hem of my garment and let me pass down some wisdom.
Do you want me to?
Now it'll look weird.
With the desk.
Plus, people think you're gay.
It happens sometimes.
Okay.
Oh, you saw my act. That's why you're saying that. You watched my comedy special.
I did.
It happens less than it used to. Now I used to get, like before the first 10 years of comedy, I got, you're gay and you just don't know it yet. Mm-hmm. And then it stopped, and now it's gay guys being like, yeah, you're not gay, but let's do this though, because it's more fun. They want a straight guy who is like, could be like,
yeah, want to turn you out.
Yeah, I think I see more available than like, I don't know, like who's like a tough guy. I don't know. Like,
I don't think Taylor. I don't think the name Taylor's helping.
Sir, Taylor is a man's name, and girls use it.
Yeah, that's it's not helping. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Adam is a feminine name, if you ask me. It's the most feminine name I've ever heard.
Well, Taylor, what are your?
It's not an
you
attack.
have a name for your fans, right?
This whole mentor thing is not going to work.
This was an attack. Mine was an attack. Adam is the least manly name of all time.
I agree. It's a weak ass name.
Yeah.
I think it's a soft, weak name.
Adam is the name that you give a feminine man because like it's the first man's name ever. So you're like, I have to prove I'm a man.
It's just weak.
You triggered me. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Well, Taylor,
when you feel cornered, you got to fight back.
Don't you have a name for your fan base?
Oh yeah. So when I was on, this is important. It's petered off a little bit, but when I was on America's Got Talent, there's this magician kid, this teenage magician kid named Collins Key, and he called his fans keepers, and he was like a teenager, and like that was cute. And I was like, I gotta have, my name's Taylor Williamson, I need fans, and I need something funny I can say on TV. So I asked producers, can I say Williamsons of bitches, like hashtag, business, and they're like, you can't say that, And then I was like, how about Taylords? And then they're like, yeah, that's fine. But like to me, it's a funny word, So I got Heidi Klum to say I'm a Taylord, and it's just a funny, people that don't know that they're being weird kind of thing. Yeah. And then people come to my shows and say I'm a Taylord, and I'm like, it's just an inside joke with myself,
That's good.
But that doesn't help.
I hung around with a guy who had fans called Claymates. Right. And by the way, again, we didn't establish if you're gay or not, but Clay's a hell of a dude. He's a good dude. He
Amazing
can belt
singer.
out a song.
He's a straight man.
He knows how to take care of a man. I'm just saying, he's a good dude. I'll vouch for him. I don't know. I'm not pushing one way or the other. I'm just saying if that's a thing, I could reach out to Clay.
He got second place on a reality show also.
He did, yeah.
That's kind of where I'm going with this.
He could be my daddy.
Hold on, but if you both got second place, that make you both bottoms? I got to work this out.
But that's got to be a possibility, right?
I'd say it's sort of in the stars. You know what I mean? Like, I'm surprised I have to broker this. I'm surprised, sort of the great magnet didn't bring you two together.
The great magnet.
Just the way things work in life. I feel like you two would be a great team. You're both in entertainment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're about the right age. You have the right look,
Thank you.
It's I'm just saying.
Similar origin story.
I could blow a call in. That's all I'm saying.
That's so sweet of you. I didn't know you were so spiritual, by the way, with the great magnet.
I have a lot of beliefs. A lot. All right, let's take a break. I got a bunch of stuff to get into with Taylor, and we'll do that right after this. Well, it's 2024, so let's talk about something important. If you get hurt this year, your injury could be worth millions. That's right. If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers, more than $20 billion recovered for over 500,000 clients. Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you the full and fair compensation you deserve. They've been fighting for the people for over 35 years now. That's a lot of experience. Racing my vintage race cars, well, that's hard. Submitting an injury claim with Morgan & Morgan, well, that's easy. So if you had an issue and you want some help, go with Morgan & Morgan. Right, Dawson?
If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Adam or dial pound LAW, pound law, pound 529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/Adam or pound law, pound 529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement.
I was really hungry recently, and I went to go buy a sandwich, and as I was leaving the sandwich store with my sandwich, I drove by a really sad guy with a sign that said hungry. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the right thing here, and I gave him my sandwich. And I felt really good about myself until I got home and I remembered why I bought my sandwich. I'm not proud of myself. Please don't tell anybody. But I drove back to the guy and I was like, listen, sir, I'm really sorry, but I'm gonna need that sign.
Taylor Williamson is on the Adam Carolla Show.
He zigged when you thought he would zag, and that's why he's funny. Stand-up special's really funny, and you can just find it on YouTube, and it's good, and it's tight, and it's 35, 36 minutes. Also, dates as well. And you should go to TaylorWilliamson.com and just find out where this guy's going to be. He's going to be in Florida at Side Splitters. That'll be January 18th through the 21st, and then he's on the road. So go to the website, find the dates, have some fun.
Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've been told I sound sarcastic a lot, but I'm being sincere. And I've also been told I look like I have allergies.
You don't look to me like you have allergies, and this is an interesting subject. You look shorter than you are in real life, which people must say to you a lot, which is weird because I don't know why somebody looks short or tall based on the shape of their face.
Yeah, he's
you know what I mean?
tall.
But you're 6 foot, 6'1".
This is so bizarre.
I watched your special. I thought, oh, this guy's going to be 5'8", 5'9". Why?
That is the most. I feel like someone must have told you that's a common thing, but I don't talk about it.
That's great.
This is the great magnet.
This is why you and Clay would be so cute. So cute together.
So the most common thing I hear in my meet and greets after shows is, you're taller than I thought you'd be. I appear like a tiny man.
What is your official height?
Well, that's another conversation. My official height is 6 feet tall, but I had a physical last year, and they told me I was 5'11", and it stressed me out a lot. And then,
because that's a Mason-Dixon line.
But I'm not one of these guys. Like, a lot of guys lie about their heights and stuff, and like that's like a common thing. But I'm 6 feet tall, and I don't need to lie about my height. But they told me I was 6 feet tall, and then the guy was like trying to be nice to me, like the nurse guy, and he was like, I'm trying to be silly with him. I'm like, this is kind of funny. Like I'm 6 feet tall, but he goes, trying to be polite. Like, he feels bad for me. He's like being sensitive, which you don't need. He's trying to be loved. He goes, do you want to put your shoes on and do it again? I'm just like, buddy. And I did it, and I still wasn't 6 feet.
The difference is when you're 6 foot or above, you party with me in the mezzanine. But when you're below 6 foot, you're down in the basement with Chris. Just fucking crying into a Zima.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the difference.
I can show you my real ID.
You listen. I don't know why. I watched your special and I was like, he just looked shorter. When you walked in the door, I was like, oh, he's taller than I thought. And I don't have these thoughts based on anything, but it is an interesting human experience, and it's not really explainable why some people seem shorter, others seem taller. It's hard to explain, but why there were consistently people would arrive at that with you.
But you're the only person in my life who's ever pointed out who's brought that up, like, and said, you must get this a lot.
Well, I'm glad to do it because you can only do it one
you.
direction. You can't do the, oh, you're a lot shorter than I thought.
Right.
See, that won't work.
Right.
So, but you can go this way. We just went up.
But what's interesting is like you're in the mezzanines with me,
Well,
hopefully. But like it's usually like shorter people who notice that, you know, like
Scott Conn,
Scott Conn.
short.
Is he a tiny man? See, I didn't know he was tiny.
He's short. James Conn's son.
Yeah.
Do you know-
Seth Green?
Peter Dinklage.
I guess.
I guess.
You didn't know?
I guess he's short on the short side. I was watching.
I've never met him in real life. I don't know.
I was watching the Emmys.
I've never seen him in real life.
I've never stood next to him.
Yeah.
I'd have to get Joel McHale to stand next to him just to see. I was watching the Emmys, and Dinklage did his presentation, and the camera kind of panned around, and I did notice he was wearing heels.
Oh.
And I was like, he's trying to squeeze another 3/8 of an inch out of this. And I thought, on one hand, I was like, what's the difference between 3'9.5" and 3'9 7/8"?
Right.
You know what I mean? On the other hand, if anyone should have a heel in there, it would be Dinklage. But I'm not saying he was wearing, Herman Munster shoes. But what I'm saying is he wasn't wearing just your basic dress shoe with the sort of 1/2-inch heel. He was trying to get another
some real lift on there.
He was doing
Yeah.
a little Tom Cruise, Sylvester Stallone, like, oh, he's in the cowboy boots. You know what I mean? Like he was trying to get Ron DeSantis, trying to get just another. Now, I understand Stallone.
Yeah.
Stallone and Cruise, every 1/2 inch matters to those dudes, right? Because they're right on the Mason-Dixon line of people going, oh, man, you're so short for an action star,
Yeah.
whatever. Dinklage, what are we talking about? What are we if you did everything, you put every lift and orthotic in your boot you could, we'd make it to 4 foot. You know what I mean? So what are we really doing
It's
here?
a lost cause at that point.
Yeah, and I don't know what his official height, Dinklage's official height, but I'm just saying the extra 930 seconds of air under your heel like that's just not going to get it.
And it's not comfortable. So we
Yeah.
know why you're doing it.
But you make an interesting point though. But why does Herman Munster wear Herman Munster shoes? He's a tall man. Why is he trying to be taller?
Well, because they're filming a show called The Munsters. And he's,
All right, okay, touche. Okay.
what's he wearing all that green makeup for? It's like,
I was wondering that myself.
they're doing a
yeah.
show, and then he's.
Thank you, Papa. You're right.
Oh, sorry, we had to go that way.
Some knowledge.
but
No, Herman Munster, the actor's 6'3", and they want to make him 6'9", so he puts the big boots on.
show business veteran over here.
I'm cagey that way. Dinklage is 4'5", and
He looks 4 feet tall on TV.
Fred Gwynn 6'6" naturally, and then he put the big lifts on and got to. Fred Gwynn, you would know
Tony's brother.
is the greatest baseball player.
Yeah, from San Diego.
Yeah, you know Tony,
Yeah.
same
Statue.
dude, same
Yeah,
build.
yeah.
Fred Gwynn was the judge in My Cousin Vinny, probably.
I know, the
People would know.
Munsters.
Yeah, the
You're talking to
Munsters.
me like I don't know Munsters.
You're asking me why he's wearing shoes.
I'm a silly goose.
Oh, okay, all right. I
You
took
hire a
literally.
silly goose. I got the Honeymooners DVD box set.
Okay, well, you're young. I didn't know.
Oh, thank you. Look at that accidental compliment.
You know who else is young? Clay Aikens.
Yeah.
No, he's probably too old for me, honestly.
It depends. He's holding up pretty well.
But respect, he's probably like a cougar to me, you know? Is a man
Yeah, well-
is a man men called men cougars?
Yeah,
Or
I think we could do that.
Zaddy.
Yeah. All right. So is Dinklage wearing like weird little shoes with a heel, or am I making that up? Here's my whole thing. If I'm Dinklage, I go full moccasin.
Yeah.
I go
Some Toms.
Brad Pitt and what do you wear those moccasins? It's a story. What was Tarantino's latest film?
Oh, Hollywood. Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You just weren't. If I'm Dinklage, I go moccasin, and I just go fuck off. There's 1/8 of an inch of leather between me, my foot, and the ground. I'm not trying
comfortable
to.
where I am.
I'm comfortable right where I am.
Interesting.
I wouldn't go heel if I was Dinklage.
You know what I found interesting by I saw his presentation there, and if he's listening, much respect. But I thought it was odd that he says something generous, and then he goes, "I guess I'm gonna read the teleprompter now."
Yeah.
Like, but you know what you're doing. Don't act like you're above reading the teleprompter. If you're, I'm trying to get him canceled.
Good.
He's been really punk rock lately.
Yeah. He's just like, I guess I'm gonna read the prompter now.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, but it wasn't like a joke. It was just kind of like dismissive. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people do the prompters like dancing for the man or whatever. Like, I'm going to tell you what they told me to say,
Yeah.
or whatever it is. You can also tell the difference when you watch those award shows, when you see Stephen Colbert go out there or you see Amy Poehler, and you go, oh, they write their own shit. They get, I mean, I've experienced it with Kimmel a million times. It's like, I'm not going to have these hackneyed people at the Academy write my intro thing. I'll just go to my 12 writers who I employ full time and go, here's your assignment today. I got to do a bit, write it. You know what I mean? And so that's why you notice a difference between certain presentations and other presentations, because some are like in-house writers. We hired 5 hackneyed guys who are going to write everyone's intro, outro, throw, whatever. But the Amy Poehlers and the Colberts and the like, Will Ferrell probably, guys like that, they go, no, we're going in-house.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my own thing. And that's why it's so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they turn it into like something that you're excited to watch. They make the show watchable, entertaining, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dinklage.
What about Bruce Valanche? Wasn't he supposed to write this stuff?
Well, I'll tell you what you're going to learn, son.
Will he hang out with me?
You're going to learn that you're going to hear a lot of names. And they're going to go, oh, you're doing a sitcom. You got to get Eddie Gordetsky. He's the best punch-up guy in the business. No, they're not. Mm-hmm. They're not any better than anybody else. Their stuff's fucking hackneyed. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel and I wrote a script a million years ago, and Ivan Reitman's like, you got to get Adam Sandler's guy. I can't remember his name, and it's good because I don't want to be a douche, but you got to meet with this guy. And this guy does all the Sandler moves. He got hold of our script. He fucked it up 10 ways. So it was not even funny at all when he was done with it. He was completely fucking unfunny. And they go, you got to work with this guy. You got to. There's like 3 guys that are really funny, and that's about it. So don't trust anybody, son.
Am I one of them?
Hold on, I got to gas up here. Could you hop out? Here, I'll hold the sandwich.
On 3.
Okay.
I would do it once for TikTok. Then I'd feel like I'm being taken advantage of. But I'll do it once for TikTok.
All right. So I was on the internet and I watched, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a PSA, but a little short with Biden and Obama. And Obama stood next to Biden, and they were just doing hey, we got to keep this country safe, and we can't let it fall into the hands of Hitlerian dictators.
Just talking directly to the camera.
Yeah, and we need some money. It was just a quickie. Let's get Obama in here and let's see if we can raise some cash. So just do this. And I think they just it's the Biden Victory Fund. And it was just it's got to be just a few days old because it's got to be new. And I think Biden said to Obama, hey, do me a solid, bro. Help me raise money. Everyone likes you. and so stand next to me. And they did it, but it was not mission accomplished. And I'll tell you why. And then Dawson had a very interesting alternative view of this, which I thought was kind of fascinating. So, all right, we'll play it.
We need your help to ensure Joe's leadership continues to guide us forward. We know the other side won't rest, so we can't either. Your donation will help give Joe and Kamala's campaign the resources it needs.
Let's make history again. Chip in now. Let's secure a brighter future together.
So either said a brighter future or he said a better future.
He said both.
Started to say bright, then went into better, and then he said brighter.
It's funny that they don't have someone to go to one more time.
Well, also the thing you don't really understand it, but I learned it when I did Dancing with the Stars, is
Tangos are hard.
I learned many a lesson, but what I learned is when you stand next to guys like former NFL Hall of Fame defensive lineman, and for the Miami Dolphins, Jason Taylor, who's 6 foot tall, got huge arms, 2% body fat, and like mocha colored, don't stand next to him. You feel like a fucking troll. You just feel like the ugliest, whitest sack of shit ever. Like you just don't stand next to fucking Jason Taylor.
Yeah.
When you see Biden on his own is just Biden, but when you see him here, when you see him standing next to a very lucid, bright-eyed, sharp young guy,
I can see every wrinkle on his face.
He looks like he's squinting to read a teleprompter. But we'll play it one more time, and then I'll give you an interesting theory.
We need your help to ensure Joe's leadership continues to guide us forward. We know the other side won't rest, so we can't either. Your donation will help give Joe and Kamala's campaign the resources it needs.
Let's make history again. Chip in now. Let's secure a brighter future together.
All right, so he kind of bumbled brighter, better, burger future for that. All right, now, first, I'm with you, Taylor. Could we get another take? I've done bits my entire life, man show and whatever. Whoever the directors go, let's do it again. Sometimes they're kind and they go, that was a good one. Well, let's get one for safety.
That could have been the third take, though.
That could have been the fifth take. Yeah.
The first take was him going, I guess I'll read the teleprompter now.
So, you're right, could have been the fifth take, but somebody needed to say, here's the problem. The rub is, Joe's, everyone says you're too old and you're fumbling and bumbling and your speech is slurred and stuff, and this is making their point, not the point you're trying to make. And then I thought, well, why didn't Obama? Why didn't Obama? Because no one has more juice in that room. Like maybe the 23-year-old guy behind the camera is not going to say shit to the president of the United States, but Obama, of all people, could go, Joe, let's give that one a second shot, right? And I was putting that out there, and Dawson said,
I'm not sure it's in Obama's self-interest to keep Joe in there. I think they might be looking to replace him. And so,
wow.
Oh, you think it's a sabotage?
I mean, he's right there. He could have been like, Joe, we really need you. Come forward.
Obama's like, yeah, I'll do this promo. Let's go. Let's record it right now.
I'm just saying, if my goal was to stand next to somebody so they could realize their goal, which is get donations or fill a comedy club or whatever the goal of this meeting was, if that was truly my goal, I would say to that person, let's give it a second shot.
Right.
But if they didn't, then maybe his wife's waiting in the car. Maybe Michelle's like, I'm going to parachute in, and this is actually more of what we need.
That's wild.
Honey, Gavin, we got it.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? It's an interesting enough theory.
Wow.
Because Obama definitely could have got a few more passes. He could have told Joe, let's give another shot.
I had that happen when I did America's Got Talent. In the finale, there's a performance episode, and the next day they do results show. And before the results, they stretch it out for 2 hours, and they have you do a duet with a special guest. And I got to do a thing with James Lipton. And
wow.
It was so special. I had a list of celebrities that I would like to have worked with, comedians, whatever, and everyone said no. They told me everyone said no. And then like Billy Crystal's on Broadway. I'm like, maybe he would do this. Is at Radio City Music Hall, and like it was the bigger show back then. And I'm like, maybe Dick Van Dyke. I don't know. It's a big show. I don't know. And like Lenny Kravitz does it. Whatever. Maybe this. Whatever. Everyone said no. And then randomly, James Lipton was the biggest fan of America's Got Talent. He won the Emmy Award the night before in LA. He flew out there. I spent the day backstage at Radio City. And it's on my YouTube if people want to see it. But the point is, I got to write a fake interview, a sketch, written out inside the actor studio with him. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever done. But he had some ideas for jokes, and it was really awkward because, respectfully, like, he's great, but he's not a brilliant comedy
Eddie
writer.
Gordetsky.
He's no Eddie Gordetsky. He's not, exactly. But like, so he was like pitching some bits, and like he was pitching like something about like not pitching, but he was putting in the script.
He was 90 at the time,
he was
right?
legit like late 80s, and his sweet wife was such an angel, and he was such a love. And anyways, but Howie Mandel, who's not a producer on AGT, but he just hangs around because he hates being alone and he loves being around people. And he happened to be watching, so he came in back and he saw a rehearsal, and then he just kind of took over because he's like, I'm Howie Mandel. I can tell Sir James Lipton, hey, maybe cut out this bit, let him be funny, you be the straight guy. And it was so special what we did together. And you know what's cute is like we're on stage doing rehearsals, just empty 6,000 seat Radio City, and he has a pin on his suit jacket, and he's like, you know what this means? And I'm like, what's that? And he goes, it means I'm a knight. And I was like, oh, that's so like he was so, like child, like in the most beautiful way. Like he was so proud of. I mean, why not? You know?
Yeah.
I'd wear that everywhere, and I tell everyone.
that.
I tell everyone at the gas station. Hey,
Before I got the squeegee. Yeah.
Hey, squeegee guy. I tell everyone I know.
Well, I would say, listen, I have the power to dub you Sir Squeegee Guy, and I will use the squeegee as a sword to dub you, but you have to help me open this fucking gas flap first, Squeegee Guy.
That could be your new angle. Like if I'm not available to be your compadre.
Flap wrangler.
Flap hangler?
Wrangler.
Flap wrangler. But you could purchase get some merch, like 1,000 of them printed out, and every time you pump gas, you go to the person behind you and you're like, hey, I proclaim you the...
I think what I would do is make a little sheriff badge, you know, and I would go, I'm going to deputize you to open my gas flap. You know what I mean?
Do you ever think about doing that? Because like you're a famous guy, like there's Bill Murray stories everywhere, right? Like people he'll go up to someone at the park and cover their eyes and be like, no one will ever believe you, and I'll walk away. He'll show up at people's house parties and like college parties.
Yeah,
and
sure.
stuff.
I've seen the doc.
So I think we need some Adam Carolla ones, but that's your shtick. Like you travel around the country, people have stories about you deputizing them at the gas station.
They already have stories about being a super shitty tipper. I do. I travel the country. I give 9%, and I leave them with that memory. So they all believe me. Every waitress,
Right.
He's
made his mark.
They know. They understand.
Right,
they have a story.
All right, no more career
And
advice.
you know the one where he gave me a thumbs up and a that a boy. Those stories don't last long, but the 9% tip that endures.
You know, you taught me. I did your show with Drew like several years ago. This was right after I did America's Got Talent, and I got it. You gave me some wisdom because like I get picked up in cars a lot. I do comedy clubs or whatever, and then you get picked up in a car, and like I don't know. There's a second. I had like a few weeks where like I thought I should sit in the front to show that I'm not a douchebag who thinks I'm famous, you know. But most of the time they were weirded out by it. This guy's like one guy told me Robin Williams sat in front. He was a really normal guy. So then I tried to sit in front, and they have to move their shit to the back, and like. But then I was like, how much am I supposed to tip? Because the club tips too, and the venue tips also. Do I tip also?
The club and the venue?
Well, wherever I'm performing at.
Right.
I'm performing at theaters. I'm fancy, you know.
Right.
And but I was like, do I tip on top of their tip and whatever? And then you tell me, just give $20.
Yeah, it could. It never hurts.
Yeah.
And you're doing fine. I mean, not with the HOAs and the Russians now.
I have a lot of other issues too, if you'd like to hear. You know, I wear this Navy hat everywhere, so I get discounts. That's a whole nother conversation, but it's really great.
Really?
You go to Coffee Bean, they give you 10% off.
No, you listen. I'm way ahead of you. I'm way ahead of you, and I say it all the time, and I don't live it enough. But I am telling you, I had a hat that said LAPD on it, and it was given to me, and I went and got my supercharged BMW M3 car out of the shop after 2 years of being there with like 700 horsepower, and I was doing 90 on Oxnard Boulevard and a 35. And a motorcycle cop just lit me up, man. And I was literally, it was an exhibition of speed.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't had the car in like 2 years, and I want to see what it did with the supercharger on it. And I just dropped it into second gear and I fucking redlined it. And I was going like 70 miles an hour and then threw it in a third and chirped it, you know, and just because Oxnard just opened up, and I was like, I'm fucking testing this thing out. And I just fucking got on, and I flew by a cop, and he was a motorcycle cop backed in between two parked cars. I was like, all that guy's doing is writing tickets. He has no business. That's all he does, write tickets. And I as I flew past him, I caught him out of the corner of my eye, and I'm still 5 blocks down. I was going so fast before he even pulled out, and he just lit up, and I pulled myself over, and he came up to my car fucking outraged, like pissed off, dangerous, exhibition of speed. But I didn't know it, but I forgot I was wearing my LAPD hat. And he's fucking yelling at me, and at some point he stops in the middle and he goes, "Where'd you get that hat?"
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. I forget what hat I'm wearing sometimes.
Yeah.
And I go, I do a little charity work.
Yeah.
It's really neither here nor there. What kind of charity? I work with, golf terms. I raise money, but anyway. And he was like, okay, well, be more careful next time. And he just fucking left. And I always realize if you had a highway patrol hat and an LAPD hat and a fucking Glendale PD hat, just switch the hat as you pull into the municipality. You'd be fine.
Yeah, my friend's
department.
brother's a firefighter, and she has like a sticker on her car.
Yeah.
That they get, and she doesn't get tickets.
Yeah, I did a thing for LAPD once, and this guy gave me his card. He's like, it's like a get out of jail card, but I've never been able to use it. I haven't been pulled over since, and but it's awkward. You have to be like license registration, and you go, here you go, and like truly like how you would think, like as a joke, we just go, oh here, oh whoops, oh yeah, that's give them a call, then they go, oh yeah.
I had a little sticker on my license once because I did a highway patrol charity event or something like that. Then they give you the reality is nobody has to write a ticket.
Right.
So all they need is just a little something. Could be you went to high school with them.
Yeah.
Could be you got the sticker on the car. Could be the hat. That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, you're cool.
But the problem with wearing this hat, though, and taking advantage of all the discounts you get at places like Target, 10% off.
It says
everything.
San Diego
It's
Navy.
a Navy, but then sometimes people chase after you with a camera. They're like, stolen valor, and you have to run away, and it's a whole thing,
Small price to pay for a discount on a chai latte.
For pretending. Dude, I hope it's clear I'm joking. I don't really do stolen valor. I don't know if people think I'm doing a silly bit. I'm scared.
I believed it.
I believed it, too.
Yeah, I still
All
believe
right. Should we do some... we have a clip of you and James Lipton.
It's honestly it's like the coolest thing I've ever gotten to do on it.
Yeah.
How's Heidi Klum?
Can I tell you? So I have my whole career because of her. Like
Really?
these competition
I
shows.
knew I hated her. I told you. You know, say something's wrong with her.
You have.
It's her fault that I'm here. I'm
She's
sorry.
a force for evil. Remember?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
But I believe it. But so comedians go on the show and like they get standing ovation from the judges, and then they don't get like you're great, and then they don't get voted. They get eliminated instantly. I went on the show. She said, "You're not funny. You're not appropriate. Whatever." The crowd booed. I got a little pro wrestling controversy. Whatever. People voted for me. And I got like the "fuck you" vote. Like I like it. Whatever. So I got a thing, and then the rest of this show, I got to write it. I wrote a series of like the next round. I want to make Heidi Klum think I'm funny. So here's some kid-friendly jokes. So I wrote a bunch of jokes about animals that are like filthy sex jokes, like PG-13 sex jokes. And so the rest of the thing was me trying to get Heidi to like me, and she played along. I went there for a few years. I went back on the show, and like people still ask me, "Where's Heidi?" Like we did like sketches and stuff, and like she played along and like has really helped. Like I own my. I'm going to HOA meetings because of her. So.
Yeah, you'll be leading them soon.
And I got to kiss her on the mouth. If you Google, there's a picture of me kissing her on the mouth There you go.
Wow.
Look at you, professional. Like, look what German and a Jew kissing.
Wow, that's so wonderful.
Breaking barriers.
Don't show that to Clay. He's not going to want to return my phone call.
Yeah, no, he doesn't want.
No, they
cooties.
like it more. Can I tell you my experience in life? They want you. The straighter you tell them tell them that I am, the more they're like, "Ooh, challenge."
Yeah, you want what you
Yeah,
can
but he's
have.
never gonna believe you. That's true.
Yeah,
I've seen pictures. All right, he'll watch the special and be like, "No way."
That's not good if I have to be like, "There's a picture of me kissing a girl. Come on."
Yeah, that's like I have black friends. Come on, I can't be racist. All right, we'll take a break. We got Hollywood hand-me-downs. We'll guess on these big items, big memorabilia items that are going across the auction block or have been across the auction block. Are they going across or have they been across?
They've been.
They've been, and we'll do that right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Adam, this is Nick in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I just wanted to let you know that I'm a mailman, and I beat the trash man every day. I deliver the mail, trash man's behind me. Get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
All right, Taylor Williamson hanging out. I think I'm going to call an audible and we'll do some news before I talk to Melissa Newman about her incredible life and her family. It's Paul Newman's daughter, one
Yeah.
of Paul's daughters. I made a documentary about Paul Newman, but I've never talked to anyone in the family.
My dog eats Paul Newman dog treats, and she loves them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
See?
respect.
It's the same thing.
Ubiquitous.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do a little news.
All right, so there's this guy in Chicago who is suing 27 women over negative reviews in a Facebook group where they call him clingy and that he ghosts them. So this Facebook group, it's called "Are We Dating the Same Guy?" And girls will post pictures of the guys they're dating. And so one woman posts the picture of this guy saying he's clingy.
Was he clingy or is he ghosting them?
She said he was clingy. Mm-hmm. And he says he became clingy very fast. He kept talking about how I don't want to see his bad side, especially when he was on business calls. And then other women commented, "Whoa, I dated this guy too. He ghosted me. He'll ghost you right after this. Like especially if you don't want to sleep with him. Unremarkable dates. He never wanted to be exclusive. So all these women." So basically, he became famous in this Facebook group as a guy not to date, and he found out about it, and he is now suing. He's suing these women. He's suing Meta. He's suing all these people because it led to, quote, personal humiliation, mental anguish and suffering, emotional distress, stress, anxiety, and lost earnings.
See, this is all the be-love bullshit. Get the fuck over it, douche. Or learn how to act on a date or whatever the fuck. Just keep walking.
This is smart, though. Can I tell you? Like, I never thought about this because I'd love to sue someone and make lots of money and never have to work again. I'm at that point in my career. I used to be like, I love comedy. I'm like, I'll just take a lot of money.
Clay's an earner.
He's very, very successful.
Well, listen, I'm not saying no anymore, okay? But sue, because people go for the settlement in a lawsuit. You know, you sue, but then you're like, let's get a settlement. Let's all move on. Sue 28 people at once for like $2,000 each. And then you get $1,000 from each of them. It's like, I don't want to deal with this. You get $28,000 and you're done.
Yeah, you get
no one does.
You get $28,000. You never have to work again.
Listen, I don't have an empire to cover. Okay,
Except for life.
It's just some HOA payments, you know.
It's really meta where the money. It's the gals don't have deep pockets, but maybe Meta does.
Right.
You know?
But women are incredible internet sleuths. That's why like these Facebook groups work. Like I think I've said this before. There was a trend on TikTok where if like a girl would go over to a guy's house and they would open the medicine cabinet, they'd see like a guy's toothbrush in there. Then they would videotape the entire bathroom and go, I just got invited to this guy's house, or this guy's house, and there's a girl's toothbrush, excuse me. And so does anybody know if he's dating anybody, if he's married? And they would spread it all over TikTok and catch the guy for cheating on his wife who was away out of town or things like that. Like,
is it just the color of the toothbrush? Because I would go with a kind of bi toothbrush, like a neutral gray. You know what I mean? Not a pink flowery
no hearts
one,
on the toothbrush.
You know?
Stay away from that.
Kotex presents
his and hers toothbrushes.
Okay. See, women are the greatest internet sleuths, and they're the sleuths. That's where we got sooth and sleuth. You know what I mean?
You pulled a Biden. Look at you.
It's a sleuthsayer. It's a soothsayer and a
We'll take two.
sleuth.
What's a sooth? What's a sooth?
Soothsayer.
Soothsayer is like a prophet, like a oracle.
Okay.
Yeah, soothsayer. And then we have internet sleuths. But either way, here's what women are. And this is why they can catch all the serial killers on the cold cases and stuff like that. They are motivated. And when women are motivated, you can't stop them. But when they're not motivated, you can't interest them. Do you know what I mean? They're like bad students. You know what I mean? Where it's like, he's smart, but he's horrible at all these subjects. Yeah, but he's not engaged. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when women get engaged, now when it comes to shit that has to do with you around the house or any of that, that's all like, oh yeah, forgot about it. I didn't think about it. But when it comes to the murders and the serial killers and the shit they really care about, they're fucking tenacious. Guys, we could find as many serial killers as women do. We just don't care. We're not into it. We could do it. we don't care that much. When women get hold of something they want and they're into, they get super wildly effective.
Yeah.
Which then always makes me angry because it makes me see what you can do when you're into it versus, oh, I forgot about the dry cleaning. I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what they do. They get really hyper-focused, and when they get really hyper-focused, they get super efficient, and they're dogged too, and they're relentless, and they will not run out of energy for shit that you don't care about. But they have almost no energy for shit you do care about.
Right. How do we harness this power for good?
We can't harness it for good. It's only can be used for evil. Like Heidi Klum.
I saw someone sent me this TikTok thing. It's like some conservative TikTok YouTube guy, whatever is going on. What is a woman, you know? But that's the answer.
Yeah.
It's longer than their answers, but I like that.
Super motivated, but hard to motivate.
Yeah.
But when motivated,
yeah, they're
look out.
superheroes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's the most pro-woman thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Thank you. Like Helen Reddy.
Feminist Adam Carolla, right?
Yeah, it's also partially an indictment, but yes, they can fucking organize, they can go to town, and they can ruin your life, and they can find everything on the internet.
They can do anything.
Yeah.
And we could too, but we got better shit to do.
I'll just be talking about somebody, and I could just describe this person to a woman, and she'll go, "Oh, I'll find them on Instagram right now." Just
That's
based
right.
on like a description. Like they're so good at that.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
They're also perpetually annoyed, and I'm never annoyed. Women are constantly like, that guy's so annoying. So annoying. All the time. I talk to Dr. Drew about this all the time. I'm angry or I'm horny or I'm hungry, but I'm like, I'm never annoyed. I'm just like, I don't want to hang out with that guy because I think he's a douchebag or he's a blowhard or whatever. But women will go, that person annoys me. I don't even be around, whatever. They use annoyed a lot. And then you go, what do you mean annoys you? Like, how does that work? And they go, they're annoying.
Yeah.
Like, they can't describe it, but it's annoying.
I feel like you're challenging me, though.
I am. You find me annoying?
No, I feel like you're. No, respect. I feel like you're challenging me to annoy you.
Oh, we're way down that.
challenge accepted and completed.
Well, I'm honored. Wow. Oh, wow.
No,
look at this woman over here, huh?
You have no annoying qualities.
I love myself. I have high self-esteem, but I don't think that's true.
No, you have tons of bad qualities, but you don't have annoying qualities. Okay. You know what I mean?
All right, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So in Tampa, there's a 17-year-old girl driving, and she gets into an accident. Her car actually flips upside down.
Wow.
But these two good Samaritans help her, this guy named Jake and his buddy, Hulk Hogan.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So they pull the teenage girl from the wreckage. Hulk had to puncture the airbag with a ballpoint pen to get her out. She's okay. Yeah, she was unscathed, really rattled. But imagine
if I rolled my car and Hulk Hogan came to the window while I was like inverted and dazed, I think I was dead and in wrestling heaven. You know, like, hey, brother. Oh, goddamn. I'm dead. I'm dead for sure. There'd be no way Hulk. In L.A., it'd definitely be illegal who would come up and try to help you. But if Hulk put his big head down that thing with the sunglasses on top of the trucker cap, the big mustache, like, brother, you okay? I'd be like, definitely dead.
And I love that he's wearing an NWO T-shirt. Do you notice that, buddy?
That's another thing that would make me think I was dead.
He's wearing a wrestling
heaven.
I love about wrestlers is they wear their own merchandise unironically all day, and I love them in all the ways. Me and Chris have been seeing that independent pro wrestling shows together.
It is. I agree with you, and there's only one person that gets a full pass on that, and that's Dave Chappelle.
Yeah,
Dave Chappelle goes out in his own apparel, and no one goes, douche. Like, what are you fucking doing? You're doing comedy? You're selling windbreakers here. Like, no one says shit.
No one.
And
on his Netflix specials, he's wearing his logo.
Yeah, completely. No one says anything.
It's
if you tried
cool
that, people, you'd be destroyed.
That's not kind.
I'm saying
I'm going to do it.
You're gonna wear Chappelle shit your next special?
I have an idea.
You could get away with that, and maybe people think you were funny.
No, here's the business.
That's
plan.
what I should. We should all wear Chappelle shit.
Business plan. We'll try it out. your car is frustrating to you. We got to get you a new car, but it's expensive to get a new car. How about you drive 90 miles an hour, little topsy-turvy thing. I come to save you. Chris brings the camera. I'm wearing my Taylor's t-shirt, and or perhaps my I Heart Taylor Swift's crossed out Williamson t-shirt available on TaylorWilliamson.com. And then we take some pictures, and then we both you get a new car. I mean, you cut out this part of the podcast, because insurance might be upset about it.
All right, but I know this going into it.
Right, this is a plan.
Yeah, I don't want to think I died, went to gay heaven.
Taylor's
head
wearing
comes
his own
popping
shirt,
in.
Wow.
pulling you out.
Wow. I thought, do we get to go to heaven? Okay. Well, then I'll be gay then.
Now.
That's what was
I think in
stopping
the old
me.
days, no.
Yeah.
I don't know if Hulk Hogan thinks that we get to go there.
That's a good point. I mean, he's wearing a do-rag, a wrestling shirt. He's in full.
He looks like he just got out of the ring.
I saw his post. He posted something about he has like a Christian pen or something that saved the day too.
Oh, Christian.
Yeah, but by the way, Hulk Hogan, I am in Tampa this weekend. If you want to come to my show, please. I love you.
He saved her. His son got in a horrible car crash and killed the passenger, I think. And he
This is not helping me sell tickets to Hulk Hogan.
Sorry, but when his son was like 17, he was like street racing, and he had like a Supra that was all souped up, and maybe it was a Dodge Viper. Either Viper or a Supra. Was it a Viper or a Supra that Hulk Hogan's son killed a guy in, and had to do some time.
Yeah.
And I think people are a little miffed at Hulk because they were like, hey, man, the kid's 17. What's he driving an 800 horsepower Viper around? And he was drag racing somebody. And I think he killed the passenger
It was his
friend.
car. It was his friend. There was a lot of bad stuff that happened because of that, and his reputation was really not good.
But great magnet. Now the Hulkster saves a life.
He's even now.
You see what I'm saying?
Is that how that works? As long as you do something good before you die, if you do something really bad, the magnet cancels it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mulligan.
Can I say this? I'm not bragging. I've done like some good things in my life. I feel like I'm ready to do bad things.
Okay.
Does the magnet work like that? Do you get credits? Like, do you get points?
Yeah. Generally, we sit back and look at the totality of your life.
We, as the gatekeepers,
as arbiters of the magnet.
He's on the board.
Keepers of the magnet. Yeah. I'm like the Russian guy from the HOA. We give you 10 minutes.
Okay.
Might take less. We take a look at your achievements. It shouldn't take that long. And then we balance it out.
Can I tell you something? I swear I will come with you on one trip to do your gas thing if you will come to one HOA meeting with me.
Okay.
I think you'll have fun at this next one when the Russians get kicked out after voting. I really am here not to promote my comedy special on YouTube, not to promote my touring around the country. I'm here to get people to help vote out the Russians in my local HOA. Thank you to my neighborhood.
Yes, it's important.
Nick Hogan drove a Toyota Supra. So there you go.
Yeah, 2007, I think.
Was that when the accident was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
You know what Hulk Hogan has now? He has a restaurant. Mm-hmm. Bret the Hitman Hart just opened one in Calgary. That's a new thing. But Hulk Hogan has a restaurant, and I don't know if you saw Joey Janela. There's a wrestler who went on. Anyway, he has a restaurant where he eats, and people can do karaoke while you're in front of him and his son and oh my God, the guy who's the wrestlers, the Nasty Boys. Anyways, just you're in front of wrestlers while they're eating chicken wings and you're singing songs. It's the most bizarre. It looks like it's a joke, like a sketch.
Right.
But it's just karaoke and you get what I'm saying.
I'd like to do that.
Yeah. Come to Tampa this weekend. We'll go.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to have to gas up before we leave.
I'm reciprocal friendship. I understand. Are you my dad and my friend, or just my parent?
I like to keep a sort of firewall between the friendship and the fatherly influence.
I understand. That's respectful because you're looking out for me.
You know who you have? Has anyone ever brought up Kevin Nealon to you?
Can I tell you?
Have
I just
so
got
many
that.
Kevin Nealon qualities.
Mark Maron just said that to me. He's like, I don't know who to compare you to, but then I got that. I think that's a great compliment. Thank you. I got to work with Kevin Nealon last Christmas at a private event, and it was really special. And then I thought we were going to be friends, and I don't think that worked out. But
I wonder if anyone goes to Kevin Nealon like you're like a funny Taylor Williamson. I mean, they said something older. They probably say older. Taller.
Yeah.
Taller. He's tall.
Yeah, he's tall.
He's brilliant.
He's brilliant.
Yeah, he's really
He's quietly one of the funniest guys around.
Yeah.
And nice. And you it's not that you look exactly like him, but you have qualities.
What are those? I genuinely don't know. What is that?
You laugh the same way.
Okay.
And you answer the same way. Like when you're like, okay. That was a very Kevin Nealon kind of answer.
Yeah.
I see. Like, I guess I'm honored to be in his category. Like a lot of these guys, they're just like they're hooligans, you know, and like the comedy, they'll go to like, hey, nice shirt. Where'd you get that? It's like I like your shirt, by the way. I'm not being, but you know, I don't want you to think I'm making fun of your shirt, but like, hey, Chris, nice sweater. Where'd you get the ugly sweater store? You know. I'm so sorry, but I love your sweater. But I'm not that kind of person. I'm more like, I love your sweater.
My wife gave me this sweater.
Yeah.
That hurt.
No, Nealon's nice.
But you can be funny and be love, you know?
Yeah, be love. It says it on the back of the helmet.
We got everyone's clapping behind the scenes. Yeah. Wow. So we're pro be love now.
That's our new thing.
Always have been, yeah.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so confused. I love it, though.
Well, it takes all of us to be loved. Mm-hmm. That's what I've learned.
Wow. So it's amazing how someone writing something on the back of their head can really change things around here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it gives us a new perspective.
You've been putting out love your whole career, I think.
Yeah. That's my thing. That's my thing.
That's how people describe you, I think. So you describe me, how do you describe yourself?
I never really describe myself, but I would say if I was being accurate, probably a lot of people think I'm an asshole.
No,
I never really do anything that would fall under that heading. I would probably describe myself as quiet, generally friendly, but not overly nice or generous, and but a good neighbor. Like I'm a good citizen. You'd want me as a neighbor because I would never hassle you and I could help you fix shit.
And you would.
Yeah, if you want a hand on something, I definitely.
That's really kind. Can I tell you, I had it. I'm not proud of this, but I don't have a peephole in my door. It doesn't work. And like I had someone knocking on my door screaming, like scared. This is many years ago. I'm not proud of this, but I didn't try to help because I'm like, whatever's out there, I can't do anything. And I don't know my neighbors. I'm not proud of this. This is this is the magnet thing. Maybe I'm even actually.
You're still paying for this.
But someone was knocking my door, like it sounded like with terror, like help me.
Let me contrast that story with
also, what am I gonna do? Yeah,
I was going in Santa Monica at night a million years ago. I was outside of my apartment. I heard a woman screaming out in the street. And I ran out there and I chased her, purse snatcher, all the way down the street.
This was during the day, by the way. This is my situation.
Mine was, 9 at night. And I chased the guy down until he dropped all her stuff and got her stuff back.
That's amazing. That's really kind. And like
that would make me good. Yeah. He would want me as a neighbor.
I agree with that.
But then he would also say I was a dick. I think. Yeah.
But you're the kind of guy that like people who are like this idea show. I did some USO tour stuff. I hung out with some like service people and stuff. You know, this guy, like, I'm not a big fan of guns, you know, but like, I'm not like anti-gun, but I wouldn't have a gun. But this guy had a gun, and like, I like him, and he brought a gun everywhere we went, and it was kind of ridiculous to me. But I feel like he's the kind of guy that would like save the day.
Was he in the Army?
He was Air Force.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, listen.
Like, we need people to save the day. Like, it's not.
I agree. It's not guns, good or bad. It's who's got the gun.
Yeah. Wait, are you saying it's the person? Not guns don't kill people. People kill people. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying if you were in a situation and somebody was robbing, you were being abducted, or Hamas had come in and
why you pointing at the Jew and
your
go
apartment
Hamas?
Complex, your condo complex, want to take over, you'd be happy if there was a good dude next to you with a gun. All right. I got to take a break because Melissa Newman is waiting in the wings. Taylor, very funny stand-up special. Taylor Williamson live at the Comedy Store and live dates all over the place. TaylorWilliamson.com. We'll talk to Melissa Newman right after this. Oh, good news. Zbiotics. I've got a surefire way to wake up feeling fresh after a night of drinking. Zbiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink, the world's first genetically engineered probiotic invented by PhD scientists for rough mornings after drinking. Pack this with you if you're going to Vegas or wherever. When you drink the alcohol turns into a toxic byproduct in the gut, and that's to blame, not dehydration. Zbiotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. I have tested it. Oh, yes, and it works. I took it, and it comes in a little vial, little glass vial, and just tastes fine. Shoot it down and do it before you get started. Just remember to make Zbiotics the first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best in the morning. It is Zbiotics, right, Dawson?
Go to Zbiotics.com/Carolla and get 15% off your first order when you use Carolla at checkout. Zbiotics is backed with 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to Zbiotics.com/Carolla and use the code Carolla at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, Zbiotics, for sponsoring this episode and our good times. In honor of Jim Carolla's 92nd birthday, here's a list of all the things Adam Carolla will do before he dies. Shout, "Not on my watch." Just one of the things Adam will do before he dies. Let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
All right. Well, better late than never. Melissa Newman is coming from Connecticut, I think. Has a book called Yeah?
Yes, I do. You go.
I'll go. Head Over Heels, Joanne Woodward and Paul Newman, a love affair in words and pictures. And, of course, famously, your parents had this very enduring and wonderful love affair, chronicled in a few documentaries. One I made about your father driving, and another one was made about Hollywood and the love affair. So good to meet you finally.
It's so nice to meet you, and I can't believe I'm on your show.
Well, it's life is interesting, you know. I would have been the furthest away from making a documentary. Like in high school when they had, class clown and most likely to be successful and class president, if they had a least likely to make a documentary, I would have won. And I had no intentions of it.
I just think it's so funny that we are coming together through, I guess, through the sort of the racing documentary. And I wanted to ask you, I think it's, so when I first found out about your doc, about winning The Racing Life of Paul Newman, somebody came to me and said, Adam Carolla made a documentary about your dad. And nobody in the family knew anything about it. And yet you had all these people in the doc. And so somebody said, "Oh, this, you guys are going to be pissed off because nobody asked you about this documentary." And someone said, "Well, you got to listen, you got to watch it. I'm going to give it to you." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting ready to be mad and everything. I probably won't watch the whole thing." And I started watching it, and I couldn't stop watching it. And I thought it was brilliant. And I'm so glad you made it. I think it's incredible. And I also thought your documentary about Willie T. Ribs was really amazing. Uppity.
Oh, thanks. So, yeah, you must have grown up going to Lime Rock on weekends, your dad's sort of hometown track, right? With
Hell yeah.
Bob Sharp and Sam Posey and all those guys.
Yeah, they just named the back straight after my dad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I am the least of the gearheads in my family. My sister Nell still owns the 65 Mustang that she had when she was 19. She had the engine board out. When she bought it, it came with vintage stacks of vintage Playboys in the back to hold the tail down so it didn't fishtail. It's amazing we're alive. Like, she's a serious. She went to race car driving school there. She went to the
Bondurant, maybe.
Yeah, no, Skip Barber.
Skip Barber.
I think, was it Skip Barber? Yeah,
probably.
And my little sister and my sister Steph, my little sister Cleo, they all drive stick. I'm the only one who doesn't drive stick. Embarrassing.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I'm ashamed. So that's why I can't believe I'm like, I should have tapped them in to be on your show because they could talk about cars with you, and I can't. But I can talk to you about how my mom like hated the fact that my dad raced and sat up there on the hill at Lime Rock, like knitting scarves, you know. Well, but she put up with it.
That's an interesting story you bring up because I have 13 of your dad's cars. Now
I know that.
Now, you know, they weren't, as I try to explain to everybody, you don't own your race car typically, like the jockey doesn't own the horse. The horse is owned by an owner, but there are certain cars that your dad did own that I have. And so just for clarification, there's a couple cars that he bought after he was done racing it and then used it as for club stuff or hobby stuff or whatever it is. So there's, I don't know, I probably have 3 or 4 cars that your dad physically own, but then I have his rides, his race cars. And in one of the cars, there's a headrest behind the racing seat. It's a Nissan 88 Nissan 2+2Z car. And it's embroidered in red, white, and blue. And it says PLN in this, what is basically a bump stop for your helmet sort of behind the seat. And I was looking at it and I was talking to Bob Sharp and I said, why would you guys do the PLN, whatever, embroidery sort of thing? And he's like, we would have never done that. And all the other cars just had a rubber thing or leather thing, but there was no embroidery in it. And then he said, well, Joanne used to do a lot of needlepoint. And so I think Joanne probably did his initials in red, white, and blue in this head thing in leather, and then we just mounted it on there. But does that make sense?
Is it actually needlepoint? Adam, would you know the difference between needlepoint and embroidery?
All guys who make racing docs know the difference. No,
hey,
I don't.
my boys know how to cook a meal, sew on a button, and take care of a baby, and they're awesome. So, it's ironic you should mention it. One of the finest family heirlooms that we own. So this could be part of the mystery. If you can see this, it is a needle-pointed glasses case in the shape of a Budweiser can.
Yes.
That my mom made for my dad, and it's ironic that it is actually sitting right here. So I am guessing that was my mother's work.
It says it says PLN at the bottom of the Budweiser thing, and that's what it says on the headrest. And Bob just went, we wouldn't have spent time doing needlepoint on a headrest. We're working on the turbos and the intercoolers or whatever. So
you don't think someone sat there, Rosie Greer, sat there and did like the needlepoint? I have to say for the record, my dad let me design his racing logo when I was about 17, the one with the chicken. Yeah. The yellow chicken and the racing flag. I designed that when I was about 17.
There's famously on the side of some of Paul's older helmets, for sure, he had his logo with the sort of chicken. And I guess he was called Chicken Legs or something as a nickname or something. I don't know if that's had anything to do with it.
Yeah, he had some skinny legs. And when he did the Silver Chalice wearing, he wore a toga. It was like his greatest embarrassment was that he didn't pony up with the legs. But we can't just talk about my dad though, because we have to talk about my mom, because this book is about both of them, and the fact that my mother, sat there on that hill at Lime Rock and knitted up a storm, and she supported him. There's looking for a quote. There's some great quotes. So the book is
and the money's going to charity, right?
Well, that's the only way we roll in my family, and I got to say that's one of the amazing legacies. That's why, certainly anything I make from it, it would be atrocious for me to keep money from images from my family. But this is the quote. That's one of the quotes that's in the book. I think what describes Joanne's feeling about my racing was a headline once in the New York Post that said, quote, "Newman escapes death, Joanne furious." Yeah. So that's about, but the race car drivers, like all his racing buddies, loved her. She was a brave soul about it.
She's 93 years of age now.
She is. She's my neighbor. She's right across the river, and I'm going to see her as soon as I finish up here.
I know her health probably hasn't been good for a while, but she continues. I mean, she carries on. Is how is her health?
Well, she has dementia. She's had dementia for about 15 years. She was diagnosed. Honestly, she was diagnosed with dementia about a year before my dad passed away. And I honestly think that my father, like my mother got her diagnosis. I always thought that my mom could survive without my dad, but my dad could never survive without my mom. And I literally sometimes feel as though he got cancer when my mom got her diagnosis on purpose because he couldn't handle it. That's the way it seemed anyways. And so she dealt with amazing, like taking care of him and everything and knowing this. But I have to say, man, she's like the Energizer Bunny. She's on her own schedule. I don't know I don't know what's every time I see her and I think she's going to check out, she like surprises us. She's I don't know. She's cool. We still are people say, does she know you? I'm like, that question's not relevant. Anybody who knows this disease knows that question's not relevant. Soulfully, we're so connected. I sing to her all the time and, we still have a relationship. And she is surrounded by caregivers who are angels from heaven.
So
she's
you're literally a neighbor of hers in Connecticut. And I guess the plan was to kind of live off the beaten path a little bit. Seemed like that's how your dad was and your mom was. Like they didn't want to live in Bel Air, right?
Well, they did the Hollywood thing. And I have to say here, so I'm sitting right now in the house that my parents bought in 1961, the year I was born. And growing up here, it was just like, pots and pan leaks all over the house and stuff like that. And I thought back in the day, movie stars owned, this is probably the smallest house on the block at this point. But they decided, we were surrounded by artists and writers here, more writers than anything else. Writers, opera directors, people like that. They were into the New York scene. They were into theater. The reason my dad actually ended up on doing Our Town, which was the last performance he ever gave, is because he was giving my mom a hard time about, my mom was the one who cooked the breakfast and knew where everybody was and was also a movie star and ran the Westport Country Playhouse in Westport and made her own dress for the Academy Awards.
Wow.
Because she didn't have enough money. I just happen to have a photograph here. Sewed that on her sewing machine because she didn't have enough money she was a baller. So he was giving her a hard time about the fact that she was afraid of, she hated thunderstorms and she didn't like to fly and stuff like that. And she threw down the gauntlet. She said, "You haven't been on the stage in 30 years.
Wow.
And my dad was silent because my dad was terrified to go on stage. He'd drive around 200 miles an hour, no problem, but he was terrified to go on stage. So she threw down the gauntlet and he had to pick it up. And that's actually how he ended up doing his last on-stage performance, which I was so lucky to see.
Here's a philosophical question for you.
Yeah.
As you're talking about both your parents being sort of dynamos in so many different, in almost any definition of a successful, interesting, driven, artistic, whatever person, I think both your parents would check every box. My parents are very different than your parents in terms of checking those boxes. They're kind of hang around, not. There's no way anyone would mistake Jim and Chris Carolla for Joanne and Paul Newman. Never. Your parents did more in one day than my parents had done in a decade. I guarantee you that.
They made you.
They made me. All right.
They made you.
But what I'm saying is for me, everything is kind of gravy. I'm like, oh man, I'm doing so much more than I ever thought I would do. But when you have parents that were such amazing, and by the way, not just to you, worldwide, known, respected, adored, how's that psychologically for the daughter or the son?
It really fucks with your ego development, I'll tell you that much. It's so funny when I'm trying to explain it to my kids. And my dad was like, it was amazing. We lived across the river from each other when I had babies here for 12 years. We did like babies and barbecues. They had a sandbox. I had a sandbox. And they were fabulous grandparents. And when I try to explain to my kids, I mean, they know they actually went to races with my dad, and they saw a little bit of it, but when I try to explain to them like how famous my dad was in particular, I'm like, I can only say, like Taylor Swift famous, like that kind of famous. Like they can't. And then, because they were just, they were my parents and their grandparents. I have to say that's why I'm every kind of artist except an actor. My Wikipedia page conflated me with some other Melissa Newman, and I get fan mails telling me how great my work was in Bonanza and on Perry Mason sometimes, but that was not me. I sing, I do, my sculptor, do all kinds of things. I teach, I do everything but act for that reason. But they gave me permission to be an artist, and they gave me a blueprint for what it's like to be an artist, and that's an incredible gift. I said to my kid, I'd be happy if you were a jazz drummer. Like, who gets to say that? Nobody.
Well, the foundation, Newman's Own, I don't know how much it's raised over the years, but it's vast quantities of money, and it's so ubiquitous that I was just sitting in here with the young comedian, and I brought your name up, and he's like, "Oh, I have the dog biscuits for my dog. I have the Newman," and it is ubiquitous, and it's also crazy. And in the doc, it will explain the origins of the story of the salad dressing, and your dad doing a lot of barbecuing at the track and cooking for everybody. Yeah. Could you kind of talk a little about that?
It's so funny that I have, whenever people come by here, I'll have guys come, like some stonemason or the UPS guy will come by and say like, yeah, I remember like I came by here, or your dad brought me out a plate of eggs, offered me a beer, so it was, he was just really friendly that way. The whole idea of a food company that did nothing, existed to do nothing but give away money. That doesn't, that didn't exist as far as I know before he did it. And then my sister Nell started the Newman's Own Organics division. There's no family at Newman's Own anymore, unfortunately, but we're also involved in the Hole in the Wall camps, the Serious Fun Children's Network, which are camps for kids with life-threatening diseases. My dad started those. There are now 30 of them, I think, all over the world. My vision, like if you want to look up the Hole in the Wall gang camps, if you want to, or the Serious Fun Children's Network, that's a bright spot in the universe. It's like kids that are really, really sick, that can have chemo while they're going to camp, that can take off their prosthetic legs and throw them down at the bottom of the climbing wall. It is the most incredible place. And so we're still involved with those. And they continue to give and give and give. And how lucky am I? I always say, if I had to have movie stars for parents, think for a moment about how lucky I am that I got the ones I got, because I could have gotten other people.
You could have got like Liz Taylor and Richard Burton or something, and you'd be.
Pretty much anyone else you can mention. If I had to trade, they were great friends, great parents. They were great supporters of us as artists and people, and I'm just really, really blessed that that we come from that.
My regret, after I made the movie, everyone kept asking me. They thought I'd met your dad or knew your dad, and I'm like, nope, never met him. But we could have talked about cars.
You could have, and when you think about the fact that art is subjective, and race car driving, you can measure your worth with a stopwatch. I think that's when, he always said that his epitaph would read, "Here lies Paul Newman, who died of failure because his eyes turned brown." But he loved his racing buddies. He earned the right. He earned that he earned his spot with racing, and it was quantifiable, and that's why he loved those people. They loved, his racing buddies loved him. They didn't like him until he got good, I mean, they waited for him to get good and saw how serious he was. He really, really loved it. So wait, to the book.
Oh, the book, yes. Head over heels.
So when I was going through all my parents' all their stuff, and I was literally like rooting around in bags and boxes. My friend and I had talked about this years ago, all these incredible photographs that are all over our walls. But what's amazing is that you think like, oh, I'll make a little book about my parents and dump these pictures in in a book. And then you start realizing that they're all by famous photographers like Richard Avedon and Philippe Halsman. And so I got together with my friend Andrew Kelly, who helped me edit the book. And helped. He did so much of the negotiating. And we had this amazing experience. All these incredible photographers, a lot of them cut like beautiful deals with us and stuff. And so just, like rooting around in my parents' attic, I reached into a bag that I was about to throw away, and I found the first 10 letters that my dad ever wrote my mom. And they are charmingly bawdy.
Oh, body. Yeah.
Oh, yes. I could not put them. I thought like, oh, I'll just stick these in, I'll print them out and put them in the book. And I started reading them, and I'd be like, Dad, not smarmy, not smutty, charmingly bawdy. So the book is really just photographs. It's quotes by my parents about each other. It's quotes from letters about like, I didn't need to write any of this. This is just all of them. I wrote a preface, and we had the most amazing time figuring out like how sort of like, we didn't want it to just see them grow old in a book, like that's so predictable. So my friend Andrew Kelly came up with this idea that why don't we just make an art book? So pairing the images to the images and the quotes to the images was really, really fun. I'm looking at one of my favorite, there's so many good quotes, but one of my favorites was my mom. What did she said? She talked about the fact that, she said, I thought Paul was grossly untalented when I first met him. I remember going to dinner with Kim Stanley when we were all doing picnic together in Cleveland and saying to her, God, it's a good thing Paul Newman is handsome because he certainly can't act.
Wow.
And we paired it with like a picture of her helping him do a handstand. And like, you just have to see like what, how it's almost subliminal how we paired them. It's not immediately evident when you look at, how things went together. And just like in the letters, I'll read you like one quote. So this was in one of the letters of my dad. He fell hard for my mom. And my dad was married, and he already had 3 kids, and they had a real long, steamy affair. Mm-hmm. And but the fact of the matter is, I'm still close to my siblings, and my sister Steph, who is from my dad's first marriage, said, she said my mom actually gave me my siblings. Like we all spent time together in this very house, all 6 of us. But so here's a quote from my dad right when he met her. No one sings like Woodward or acts like Woodward or bitches like Woodward or kisses like Woodward or talks like Woodward or talks as long as Woodward or wipes water out of her eyes like Woodward or smiles like Woodward or cusses like Woodward. No one is as theatrical as Woodward or changes like Woodward or listens like Woodward or laughs or cries or hiccups or nothing like Woodward. You is a special, a super, an absolutely unbeatable wench, and I love you.
Wow.
And these things almost went in the garbage. And then the next time I reached in, I went up in that attic, I found a stack of telegrams to my mother congratulating her on her Academy Award nomination or Academy Award win. And those almost went in the garbage, including a letter from Joan Crawford, who had already said that my mother set fashion back 100 years by making her own dress for the Academy Awards.
Wow.
And in her letter, I find this blue envelope and I open it up. It's from Joan Crawford. And she says, "Dear Joanne, congratulations on your award, I've heard so much about your great willingness to learn.
Wow.
Oh, snarky.
Claws are out.
Great.
Yeah, really. So, I mean, those things almost went in the garbage. And so it feels like every time I went into the house, like in my mom's house and my house, I would like, the house seems to like sprout. There's still like more stuff that shows up at like stuff where I'm like, why weren't these in the book? Like, why are these snapshots just lying here? Where did they come from? Like, we're ghosts here looking at it's just crazy. It's weird living in the house you grew up in. I would say my umbilical cord's like a bungee cord. They couldn't get rid of me.
Oh my God, I would kill myself if I was in the house I grew up in.
My therapist advised against it, but I told her it was kind of inevitable. So the only good thing is that like there's nothing my kids can do here that hasn't been done way worse by me and my sisters.
Well, if your dad was with us, he would love the fact that his car collection is heading to the Reno Car Museum, like as we speak, to do a full on Paul Newman display with fire suits and helmets and many of his historic race cars over there. So the public's and this Reno Automotive Museum is massive and it's well attended and there's going to be a lot of foot traffic. So. And they'll have video walls and, all the displays and everything. So like a world-class display for all your dad's cars.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's cool. And, it wasn't the documentary, you should know, originally started with me saying, oh, I have an idea. We should take one of Paul's old cars, which was a GT1 championship car from 1986 that he won the GT1 championship in at Road Atlanta. And I had the car, but it was in pieces and kind of needed a full strip down and frame straightening and dipping and powder coating and then, completely rebuilt. I said, well, what we should do with this movie is show the car, and then I'll say the thing, hey, I'm Adam Carolla, and and then I'm through the movie put the car back together, and then the end of the movie will have me racing it at the Monterey Rolex Historics, and it'll be whatever. And we filmed all this stuff of the car getting worked on and car getting trailered to the place where they're working on it. And me standing there doing I'm Adam Carolla. I'm not only a comedian, but I'm an enthusiast and blah, blah, blah. We did the whole thing, got the whole thing together. And the guy, Nate Adams, I was producing it with, he said, well, let me show it to a friend or two of mine that I respect. Because I want to see what their take is on this, what we have assembled so far. And then I came into work the next day and I go, what'd your friend think? And he said, with you in it, it was a TV show, but with me out of it, it could be a movie. And I was like, well, I appreciate your candor and your friend's honesty. And then we went about cutting me out of every single scene in this movie because I was interviewing Bob Sharp and I was interviewing all the guys you sat down with. We had two cameras and it cut to me asking the question and it cut back. It was
a conversation, yeah.
We got rid of it. I completely systematically pulled me out of every single scene in this movie, and it's a lot better, without me. I understood it. It stung a little bit at the time, but I did go about taking your dad's old cars and restoring them and then bringing them out and racing them. And they're always a crowd favorite, even if I'm not.
Well, you do. Well, maybe that's your process. You make it, you just systematically, like you create a piece of art and then you systematically remove yourself from it. I mean, all I can say is it worked. And what happened with the Willie T. Ribs documentary? Was it the same thing? Or
no, we'd learned our lesson. By then, we'd realized I shouldn't be on camera at all in any part of this. So I would do some of the interviews. Nate Adams would do some of the other interviews. But we stopped turning the camera around. We just faced it one direction and went to the subject. But Willie would have been interviewed. Many of those people would have been interviewed in front of some of your dad's old race cars too,
I know.
just to give it that flavor. So I'm glad you're able to enjoy both those docs.
Yeah, really. And I mean, I never would have seen the Willie T. Ribbs doc if it hadn't been for the other doc. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I remember when that happened too, when my dad was, trying to help him out. And that was really, that was an important thing. And I think that, I would love to show that documentary here, say during Black History Month or something like that too. I think it that's not why you made it, but I think it certainly reflects some things that bear thinking about, and the fact that like when you come, in a way you come at these important issues through the lens of something like racing or something else. It's really interesting. You're good at it. All I can say. So I mean, maybe that's a testament to you that it doesn't need you to make it work. You were making something that was working already, and the fact that it didn't need you to put the polish on it. It was already there.
It was really serendipitous, your dad's doc, because I've been handed 1,000 books in my life, and I've never read one of them. I never read. I don't read. I have trouble reading, and I just don't do it. I know. I want to go out and throw dirt clods and wrestle and race cars and build stuff, and sitting and reading sounds like punishment to me. But
I want to do all those things minus the race cars, but also read. But
listen,
there's room for everyone.
I didn't learn to read when I was a kid, and it became a point of shame for me, and so I just stayed away from it because it was embarrassing, honestly.
Well, my husband's a 5th grade teacher, so
send him by.
I'm sorry you didn't have him. You'd be a reader.
Well, if he can do 3rd grade, we can talk.
Yeah.
So
he's good. He could handle you.
That book, Winning the Racing Life of Paul Newman, I think, or Winning, was someone gave it to me, and it just sat in my bedroom on a shelf for a number of years. And then I kept sort of thumbing through it because it had pictures of cars in it and some of the cars I had, and I said, oh, that looks like my car, And then at some point I had a flight to Tampa, and I just thought, I'm going to take this book. I'm going to be on this airplane for 5 hours, and I'm going to read this book. And I read the book after having it for a number of years. And when I got back to LA, I was like, well, I've never made a doc before, but we're making it, and we're doing it because I just read this book, and that was kind of the impetus for it.
Wasn't my dad's brother in it?
Yeah,
Uncle Art was in it.
Arthur and his wife, who are in Palm Springs, California, were in it, and sharp and spry, and she's great, and he's great, and crazy.
He passed,
he
sadly.
Must.
But
I mean,
but he and my dad, they were so different, but they deeply loved each other.
Well, it sounds like your dad and your mom were different from almost everybody. So not in a bad way. I just mean they were different.
Oh, my mom was like I said, she was making the French toast. And, and knitting us clothes and sewing us tutus, and also running a theater, and also being a movie star, and also washing the dog in the sink. There's a picture of my mother washing the dog in the sink in the book. You would like my book too, since then there's minimal, that's not, there's some text, but it's all relevant to the photos, but it's really about the pictures. And my mom, at one point, she was saying, she told someone, I never washed a dog in the sink in my life. And there is actually a photograph of her washing the dog in the sink. And I'm sitting here looking at the same sink. Jesus, it got dark in my kitchen while we're talking.
I was going to say the sun dropped.
I know, I'm looking ghoulish, whatever. What can you do? But I'm sitting right in front of the same sink. It's the same sink. We literally just replaced the faucet last year. The house still has, it doesn't have all the pots and pan leaks that it had when we were growing up. But yeah, they were just, but my dad barbecuing, and, somebody said I bounce around, but somebody said something about, his Volvo with the Buick racing engine, right? The famous
He had
Yeah,
a
I love
few.
that my dad, that he was like a stealth car driver. He didn't need a lot of bling. He just like, why should I get pulled over before I even get going, And somebody pointed out that my dad has a stealth car, and with the on the down low with the racing engine is just the station wagon. And then he had given my mother a Patek Philippe watch, and it never worked properly. And so my mother had the guts taken out of it, and they were like replaced with Timex. And I just
Wow.
said, that's kind of like it perfectly describes my parents.
Yeah.
And my mom had her Patek Philippe. It looked good and it worked better with the Timex. And then my dad with we could hear him coming from miles away. We were like, Dad's going to be home in 10 minutes. I just the whole thing of like popping the trunk when he was at a gas station, someone would open up. I love it. It just wasn't obvious. It wasn't ostentatious, but he could blow the doors off anyone. He also had a VW Bug when I was growing up with a Porsche engine in it. Because he just liked to pull up to the stoplight and have people look over and go, "Why is he driving that?"
I think that one got donated to a college out here for some reason. But it's in the book. Well, speaking of watches, the Rolex Daytona that went for auction of like $18 million or something.
Yeah. That's another one of those crazy stories where he like handed it off to my sister's boyfriend for rebuilding a treehouse. Wow. Well, the thing about my dad was that, when they were talking about his watches, and someone said, "Well, talk to me about your dad as a watch collector." I'm like, my dad wasn't a watch collector. He needed an accurate, they were all bangers. Like he needed an accurate watch because he was a race car driver. He didn't give a shit about his watches. I mean, he appreciated them because they worked and he wore them all the time.
Was your mom pissed, though, because it was engraved to him? It was personalized to him from her.
I didn't ask that question, and I don't want to think about it. She did give him another one, which got sold also. And the thing is, like, then it's like scary to own these things. It's like we're the same. Like I have my I don't have it on, my Timex Weekender,
Mm-hmm.
with the big numbers and the illumination. Yeah, that's us. I think my son Henry would probably not mind having a swanky watch, but then like it's too scary.
No, I agree. Where are you going in it? I mean,
where are you going with it? I mean, I know. Yeah, exactly. So you want some like a fake Rolex that you buy off the street.
Well, I once had a psychology teacher say to me once when I was in junior college for 10 minutes, he just said, "What if you bought a fake Rolex and then you got mugged for your fake Rolex? How would you feel?" And I was like, you know what? That makes sense. And so I think you shouldn't have a real one or a fake one, because either way, at least in LA, you're going to get mugged. Let me give a plug to your book, Melissa.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Head Over Heels, Joanne Woodward and Paul Newman, A Love Affair in Words and Pictures. The money, of course, is going to charity. It's available now on Amazon. And you can, if you want to check into some of Melissa's art and artistic endeavors, you can check her out on Instagram at Melissa Mud and Music. And I'm going to take a picture of that headrest, and we'll see if it looks like your mom's embroidery or needlework. After all,
yeah, it could be her or my Aunt Maggie, who was big on the racing thing with but I bet you it's my mom.
I'll take a photo. We have a photo of it.
I sent it to Aaron. He has one.
Oh, we do.
No way.
So you gotta share it so she can see it too.
Oh, all right, we'll share it so you can see it. It's PLN in.
Red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue. And actually the P and the lettering kind of looks like the stuff that was on the side of some of the helmets I have of your dad's. It was the way the P was written. And I don't know who stenciled those helmets, but we'll send you a link. Let's see. Can you see it?
Oh my gosh. No, that's not my mom, because she was just a needle pointer. Mm-hmm. Oh, somebody did that special. I don't know. It could have been anybody. Somebody just had, that's so sweet.
Yeah, it's great.
Somebody wanted to keep him safe. Yeah, I have no idea. So I hope somebody sees this and figures it out. Maybe as been hanging out with his pit crew chief, Bill Lloyd, who's the one last time I was at Lime Rock. There was one of my dad's cars on display, and Bill just walked up and popped the panel off the side and told me to get in. I'm like, Bill, what are you doing? He's like, no one's going to kick you out. So I sent you a picture, actually.
I'd like to see that one.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad won so often at Lime Rock that it was astounding. Like when he didn't win, we felt like there was something wrong. And that was back in the day whenever he won, we could all pile in. We'd all pile in. So it'd be like 6 of us in the car. You have one of his cars, the silver 75. We have a picture of all of us. Yeah, we have a picture of all of us like sitting in that car, driving around.
Oh, you're in that car in that picture.
Yes, I'm in there. And we're holding the flag. They don't let you do that anymore.
There's literally 6 people in a 2-seater. It's a TR6 2-seat convertible race car, and there are 6 human beings going around the track. And you should also know, there it is. Yeah, where are you in that picture? That's from 76, I guess.
Yeah, back in the day. I don't know. Where am I? I can't see it.
She's holding the flag.
You're holding the flag, it looks like.
I think that's me holding the flag. Yeah. And that, they don't let you do that anymore. But yeah, we used to, like, every time he won, we would pile in. God. And he won his last race, strangely, almost a year to the day after, before he passed away. He won his last race at Lime Rock on September 29th of 2007, and he passed away on September 26th of 2008.
Yeah, driving a...
Yeah, and his buddy Michael Brockman, who was duking it out with him, I remember the guy who was in the lead was way out in front, and I remember sitting and, putting the mojo the way you do, I was like, spin out, but don't hurt yourself, which is exactly what happened. And then Michael Brockman and my dad duked it out, and I remember asking Brock later, like, did you lift up on it? And he said, your dad would have killed me. He's like, no, it was fair and square. And it was like they were neck and neck down the straightaway, and it was a really exciting race. I mean, that's almost a year to the day before he passed away. And you guys are both in the Guinness World Book of Records. Yours is because your show is the most downloaded. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah, and my dad, because he's the oldest man to win a nationally sanctioned race.
Oh, really?
The 24-hour Daytona, he's in the Guinness World Book of Records. As far as I know, that stands.
Yeah. Well, it's in the doc. He's driving a Trans Am Corvette. Don't think it's a Trans Am Pontiac. It's a series. It's another story. And there we're looking at the picture of the TR6.
There we
7 people in that.
7. Oh, yeah, I guess I can... I forgot the driver. 6 plus the driver. 7 people in the 2-seater.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that isn't my mother with, like, she's below me. You can just see her sunglasses. It kind of looks like her, but I can't imagine that she would have been in there. Maybe.
Are you holding the flag?
I'm holding the flag.
Oh, that's such a great picture.
It's pretty cool.
All right, Melissa, I really appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm sitting here in the dark like a vampire now. It's been a great talk.
I concur.
Yeah, thank you so much. And keep making documentaries. You're good at it.
Oh, thank you. I shall. And Head Over Heels, name of the book. Go ahead and get that right now on Amazon. Melissa Newman, thank you so much.
Take care. Thanks for having me.
All right. Grand Junction, Colorado, Mesa Theater, January 26th, 2 shows. And then I was told it was pronounced Estes, not Estes. Estes Park, Colorado.
Yeah, don't go to Estes.
Stanley Hotel, January 27th, 2 shows. Don't we have a Kimmel thing that's supposed to be on there?
Yeah, you're doing Vegas the 25th.
Oh, we should put it on the thing. Yeah? No? Okay. That'll be 2 shows at Kimmel's then on January 25th.
I'll be with you out there.
Oh, and Dawson will be there. And just go to AdamCarolla.com for all the live stuff. And until next time, Adam Carolla for Melissa Newman and Taylor Williamson and Chris Max Battis saying, Mahala.